the show your college professor warned you about.
Prepare to be triggered. You're listening to The Patriarchy with Ian and Sal.
What is going on, guys? Episode 33, The Patriarchy Show. We are back. Ian and myself, Sal. We have a pretty good show lined up tonight. We have two really good guests. And there's some breaking news right now. We have a lot to talk about. Twitter is blowing up. The left is in total meltdown, and it's great. What's going on, Ian?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's I'm having a good time right now on the internet.
It's Armageddon, Sal.
For the left.
I hope you have your pounds of dry food that could last up to 25 years. And your Anthroplex, because it's going down. The whole government is going to collapse because a guy got fired.
It's a constitutional crisis, according to...
Constitutional crisis.
Wait, who was the one that said that again? That was, Wait, was that Cher? No.
Cher, constitutional expert.
No, I think it might have been, Sarah... No. I have a list of like 30, like 30 different celebrities that are fucking going off the handle right now on Twitter.
Good.
Yeah, it's Donald Trump fired James Comey earlier today. Not too long ago. 10 p.m. Live right now on the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean it was under recommendations from Sessions and his Justice Department.
Yeah, and months ago, the entire Democratic Party was asking him to resign.
Yeah, so isn't this what they wanted? Because Hillary literally just said Comey was one of the reasons why she lost. Comey's now fired. Now the liberals are freaking out again. You can't satisfy these people.
Trump made a statement saying that one of the reasons why he fired Comey was because of what he did to Clinton.
Well, there you go. He's being a nice guy.
Well, the Democrats don't believe it. And George Takei was the one that said we have a full-blown constitutional crisis. And he would know a hell of a lot about fully blowing.
He knows a lot about blowing and being full. Ooh. Get it? Because he's gay and likes cum.
Oh man.
But yeah, so Sessions and the Department of Justice and basically said that's it, we're Comey. I think they're making this big deal like, this never happens. I think there's been 12 or 13 FBI directors since the technical FBI has been together. And this is number 2 out of 12 or 13. Big shit.
Yeah,
it's not like a pope retiring while he's still alive, which happens once every millennia. I mean, it says right here, Trump wrote, this is according to Breitbart, while I greatly appreciate you informing me on 3 separate occasions that I am not under investigation, I nevertheless concur with the judgment of the Department of Justice that you are not able to effectively lead the Bureau. It is essential that we find new leadership for the FBI that restores public trust and confidence in its vital law enforcement mission. That's from Trump. And the new director, or the acting director, is the deputy director of the FBI is Andrew G. McCabe.
Oh, I hate that last name. Reminds me of a friggin' teacher I hate. But
the guy with the big pink ears. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
The one that ran the school store that everyone stole from.
Yeah. He used to run our high school stool. Yeah, that too. School store, and we would all steal these stupid hoodies and book covers.
I would steal his Tic Tacs. I liked stealing all his candy and his Tic Tacs that he tried to sell. But
good.
There was this Democrat, I forgot his name, on Tucker Carlson tonight, talking, basically saying the same stuff, that, this proves that there was collusion with the Russians.
Oh, it does.
And he just decapitated the FBI, and you know that face that Tucker gives, like where with his eyebrows, he's like, what the frig are you talking about?
Yeah.
The FBI is not. It's not decapitated. It's not. There's the investigations, whatever they are still ongoing.
Right.
It's just there's gonna be a new head. That's all. It's he was doing a shit job and he got fired. I think if it was I think if it was the other way around, I think Republicans would be trying to jump at the chance to make a Democratic leader look bad, but
they all do. That's what they all do. They just take the opposing position just to make the other side look bad. That's what they always do.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just the name of the game of partisan politics, and it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, but the left takes it to a whole new level, and when all these leftists like Michael Moore, Rob Reiner, Chelsea, why do people even respect their opinions on politics?
I do. I like Chris Pratt. I think he's a swell fella. I honestly do. I think he's a nice guy.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't live or die by his political opinion. I'll give you that. I'll tell you that.
It's just mind blowing that all of a sudden they give a shit about the Constitution.
Yeah. Well, here's some. I'll read some, and if you want to read some. So Jim Carrey on Twitter wrote about 3 hours ago. Jim Carrey. You remember Jim Carrey? His little fat son was at that one demonstration burning an American flag. Remember that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's like 10 or 11-year-old son was caught at a demonstration burning an American flag. And Jim Carrey got upset and said, "Oh, we're libertarians. We voted Gary Johnson. This isn't something, blah, blah, blah." So, but this is what Jim Carrey had to say with his fat little son that burns American flags. Trump fires Comey. Absolute obstruction of justice. Absolute evil. And then a bunch of symbols.
I don't know what those...
Question mark 8. Exponent yen. I guess he was just angry and just hitting buttons.
I don't know what the hell that means.
I don't know. And here we go. Share about 3.5 hours ago. Trump says one of the reasons he fired FBI Director Comey is because of what he did to Hillary Clinton. God, he is a gutless, lying traitor. 2 red exclamation points. So, 2.
John Cusack, isn't he from like the early 80s? From like really old movies?
Well, yeah, for the most part. I mean, I think the last movie I saw him in was one of Jack Black's first movies, High Fidelity.
How long ago was that?
I don't know. It's the one where he owned the record store, that movie.
Oh, what the hell was that? I think I know what you're talking about.
High Fidelity. Anyway, yeah, John Cusack, he says, and speaking of record stores, no spin matters. Keep it simple. Trump just fired the guy investigating him. Facts so inconvenient, I know. We must impeach this clown now. Well, John Cusack gonna impeach Donald Trump. You getting ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, Rosie O'Donnell, resign, you pathetic, moronic, spoiled rich prick. Because she's not spoiled and rich. She's so spoiled and rich, her own daughter hates her.
Her daughter keeps running away.
Yeah. Hold on. Please stop. And then about 2.5 hours ago, Rosie wrote again, walk out, come on. I guess maybe she said this to her daughter. Walk out, come on. Walk your American ass out of his criminally controlled White House. Turn your back on Trump. Hashtag sick Trump. I don't know. what the hell she's talking about.
I have no clue.
Maybe that tweet was meant for her daughter.
I have a husky that always runs away, like any chance it gets, and I have to go driving around looking for her.
Right.
And then I gotta get out of the car and chase her down. I think that's how Rosie feels with her own daughter.
With her own daughter, she has do you think she microchipped her daughter when she was sleeping?
Probably.
Like they do with dogs. Yeah, here we go. Someone that we haven't heard from in like 15 years. Will and Grace's own Deborah Messing. Yes. That Deborah Messing. Hashtag Comey. This is absolutely outrageous. The head of an impartial agency was fired. BC. He was uncovering corruption in the WH! Exclamation point. Hashtag fire symbol. Fire symbol, fire symbol, fire symbol, fire symbol, fire symbol, fire symbol, fire symbol. You're welcome for you get my lips loose.
Now, anyone that's been following the election since anyone that's been following politics since July knows that the FBI hasn't been an impartial agency. I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
Wait, you're telling me that the FBI might or might not have a political agenda?
Deborah Messing doesn't think so.
In my opinion, from what I've read, from what I studied, from when I talk to people, the only impartial federal law enforcement agency really is the Secret Service. I know some of them. I know some of them, and they really legit. You know, they have political opinions. But when it comes down to it, you know, it doesn't matter.
I bet somewhere on Deborah Messing's timeline back in, I'd say, October, early November, she was probably bitching about Comey.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, he's impartial.
Yeah. And John Legend just wrote, impeach him. Michael Moore. Finally got the Michael Moore. Comey fired! Dirty, corrupt things afoot. The truth will all come out. The unraveling continues. Hold the election over. Dirty, corrupt.
What does that mean?
Just
hold
like,
the election.
Just like his underwear.
What does hold the election over mean?
I don't know. Do it again. A do-over?
Oh, he's been crying about that. And the unraveling continues. Yeah, it does, but on the other side, you jackass.
Yeah.
Especially since some people are saying that it's possible that the Clinton investigations might be reopened now that Comey's out.
That'd be sweet. I'd be down with that. Here, Joss Whedon. What did he do?
Who is he?
He did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right?
I thought that was Will. I don't know. I got him mixed up with Will Wheaton. Josh Whedon.
No, Will Wheaton is the faggot from Star Trek: Next Generation.
Yeah, Data or whatever his name is.
No, he was the kid.
Oh, the hell was his name?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Will Wheaton. Anyway, Joss Whedon, he did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, and I think he did a couple other things recently. Something big, I can't remember. I think Avengers. Yeah, it was Avengers. It was something big. He wrote, "We don't need a special prosecutor. We need an Aurora."
Do you know what that is? I looked it up.
J.K. Rowling.
I looked it up.
I don't know what that is.
All right, I had to look it up because I just now. Aurora. An Aurora is a member of an elite unit of highly trained specialist officers within the Department of Magical Law Enforcement. This is from Harry Potter.
Of course. Another Harry Potter reference. If it's not a Nazi reference, it's a Harry Potter reference.
Yeah, so an Aurora is trained to investigate crimes related to the dark arts.
I bet the liberals must have loved that movie Imperium, that one with Harry Potter as the undercover white supremacist.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it's both Harry Potter and Nazis.
the Ministry of Magic and the Department of Magical Law Enforcement. That's what leftists are calling for.
Well, the Department of Magic will show Trump. Here's Rob Reiner. He wrote, Trump might just as well have said, "Lock me up." Last gasp of a dying man. GOP, stop being unpatriotic pussies. Hashtag special prosecutor. Rob Reiner.
I thought he died.
Yeah, I was surprised he tweeted.
I didn't know. I didn't. He was from like Happy Days or something, right?
Rob Reiner?
I'm getting all these assholes.
No,
mixed
he
up.
was from All in the Family. He was Meathead.
Oh, okay. See, I get all these assholes mixed up.
Chelsea Handler. Didn't she do a porn tape?
Oh yeah, horrible.
Ugh. Yeah, she wrote, Donald Trump definitely has syphilis. She showed him. Who would act like this? Nixon must have had syphilis too. At Mitch McConnell, you better wake up. Well, there it is.
I don't get the whole syphilis.
Well, it drives you crazy.
Oh Jesus Christ!
That's what it is. Because all the cock that she has inside of her to climb the ladder of Hollywood, she never got syphilis, but Donald Trump banging models did apparently. Even Joan Rivers called her out.
Yeah.
For being a whore. Like they really hated each other.
She's a piece of crap. I don't like that woman. I can't stand her.
All right, some guy named Josh Gad. You know who Josh Gad is?
Never heard of him. Do you?
Yeah, most people haven't. I think he's like a short, curly-haired guy with glasses. He's kind of like a smaller Jonah Hill.
Oh, he was
What?
known for voicing Olaf in Frozen.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, yes. You have a daughter.
No, I just looked him up.
Oh, okay.
Never heard of him before.
Google helps. Josh Gad, he wrote, and to any of you who are okay with this, please let me know how cool you'd be if Hillary were president and did this as he investigated her.
She wouldn't have let it happen. Comey would have been dead months ago.
Yeah. He would have had his neck slit. Or he would have been on top of a mountain with a bullet wound to the back of a head, and it would have been called suicide. Oh, Sal, speaking of Will Wheaton, guess who's in on it?
He's on the list?
He's on the list. Will Wheaton's on the list.
Oh, there he is, right below. He's sandwiched by two black guys, Don Cheadle and Arsenio Hall.
So let's just get right to the Will Wheaton. It may be reasonable to presume that any Republican who doesn't support a special prosecutor is compromised by or complicit in hashtag Russiagate, because we're Russian spies.
If you're a Republican, Ian, I guess you're complicit.
I'm a Russian, apparently.
Russiagate.
Let me tell you something. For a while, I was part of the John Birch Society, and every other word was Soviet, communist, or Russian. And the John Birch Society wasn't as paranoid as these people. Swear to God.
Are a lot of John Birchers, were they never Trump Republicans?
No, they were more. They couldn't come out and support people really. Okay. Like the organization, they were like heavily behind Ron Paul. I think they were later on behind Rand Paul for a while, but then I think some of them decided to back Trump.
Okay.
But as an organization, they didn't really, endorse anybody. Let's see. What did John? Hey, Sal, read Don Cheadle.
Wait, he is. It looks like he. I'm trying to. It looks like he's responding to somebody else. He's responding to somebody named. Oh, he's responding to himself?
I guess.
He writes, timing so suspect. And then he goes on to say, I think whoever he responded to deleted their tweet. He writes, I do, and he's not totally wrong. Comey has been a hot mess. But as
Lao Tzu.
Lao Tzu said, "Who the hell's Lao Tzu?"
The Art of War guy.
In action, watch the timing. It's suspect as fuck. Resist. Hashtag resist.
Alyssa Milano from Who's the Boss and Charmed fame. And she got naked in that vampire movie once.
She's annoying as fuck.
She wrote, "It's your move at GOP. Who will step up and be the hero?" Nobody.
Her last two tweets. Well, first, if you go to her Twitter, her profile, it says, "I get political and personal here, so please follow my other accounts if you only want career updates." And then she has a pinned tweet. "Those that tell me not to tweet politics because I'm an uninformed celebrity are the same people that voted for an uninformed celebrity." And then
she got you there because Trump never ran a business.
She's serious as hell about politics, though. Her last tweet: "My husband thinks my outrage is totally hot, especially when I'm outaged." I think that's supposed to be outraged while being totally naked.
That's supposed to be like a sexy tweet?
I guess so. I'm going to just respond back with whore.
There you go. That'll show her. Josh Groban, Josh Groban, he was that like angry guy on 60 Minutes, right? He's one of those guys.
Josh Groban?
Right.
Isn't he a singer?
Oh, yeah. That's someone else. Welp, Comey is gone. Good thing the entire rest of the FBI isn't suspicious of Trump. Nope. Looks like the whole thing has blown over now. Face, eyes roll. These guys, they're gonna read. This is it. This is going to work. This is what's gonna happen. This is gonna work. George Takei. When the president fires the man investigating him, and Congress and the Justice Department won't act, we have a full-blown constitutional crisis. Fucking George Takei.
He's such a friggin' douchebag.
I hate him. Apparently, everyone from Star Trek except for Shatner stinks. Will Wheaton, George Takei. All right, so we're almost at the end. So I guess we're getting into like D-level celebrities now. Kevin Nealon, who hasn't been on anything since Weeds. I guess he was in Weeds, that show, for a little while. Trump thinks he's still on Celebrity Apprentice. Wow. Hey, Sal, nobody has ever made that observation before.
Our own Jack made a joke about
Jack, it could be Kevin Nealon. I think Jack is writing for Kevin Nealon.
That's possible.
Our own Jack of he's New Media Central UK. What is he, assistant editor?
He's the assistant editor. He's a journalist. He's an actual journalist over there.
Yeah, and we get back down to our D-list celebrity, Adam McKay.
Who the hell is he?
Wasn't he what'd you call Mythbusters, right?
Why is his Twitter handle Ghost Panther?
I don't know.
So stupid.
He wrote, "Trump fires Comey because he wasn't fair to Hillary, and are there even Republicans buying this BS? Niet." Because he said no, because it's like Russia.
Niet.
Yeah. Get it? Well, that's the celebrity reaction.
He also says on his Twitter that you got to give it up to Republicans who still think there's no issue with Russia and White House. That's willpower. It's like a 50-year-old believing in Santa. These people have no friggin' creativity, sense of humor.
No. It's all the same shit. Cheeto-faced God. Toupee. Showed him.
President Agent Orange.
So, I hate it. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this anymore. We just spent 25 minutes talking about this. I hate it.
You want to talk about our guests?
Well, coming up.
You want to say bad things about them?
Yeah, let's say bad things about our guests. Maybe they're not listening right now. They're awful people. We don't like them. Well, no, we have everything in the description about our upcoming guests. They're going to be coming on in about a half an hour. They're a couple of great folks, as I wrote. We got to know him over the past several weeks. Halsey English, he's the editor-in-chief of Halsey News. Link there, halseynews.com. And Stefanie MacWilliams, editor-at-large, content manager at Halsey News. It would help if I could speak, but to be fair, it's been exactly a month since we did our last show.
Holy shit!
A month, Sal.
It's does it seem longer to you? I don't know. Yeah. It's been it's been rough, but we're hanging in there.
But real quick, I just want to read: Halsey News features news and analysis, weekly investigative reports, daily radio broadcasts, and video interviews with all the top experts in their fields to give you the information you need to find out where the truth is hiding. So make sure you check them out. They're on Twitter. Halsey English, he's at Halsey Newsnet, and Stefanie MacWilliams at Steph MacWilliams, STEF. So go check them out.
Hey, there's a featured there was a featured story on Halsey News about me a couple days ago.
What about you?
Justin Farrell, one of their writers. I was chit chatting with him, and I brought up the fact that I was, doing some research for the Libertarian Party, and I said that's what kind of turned me off, because the stuff they wanted me to look up, and he was so interested in it. He asked me to write down the whole story, and he ran with it. It was it's interesting stuff. What they wanted me to do over during the 2012 election.
2012 election. Okay, the Romney election, and it was Gary Johnson. Okay, yeah. Okay, so what did they want you to do? The Libertarian Party, who they're looking for, they're looking to be taken serious, right? The Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, what type of things do they want you to do? This party that is trying to get credibility and be taken seriously.
The main thing that the big thing they wanted me to do was try and create they wanted to go with the narrative that open borders is beneficial to the American economy. So I had to find data that showed that.
And did you find data?
I was acting like I was taking a while doing it, and then I finally just told him, this is fucking stupid, leave me alone. Because I was also tasked to try and dig up dirt on local Republicans that were running against libertarians in counties and in towns that were basically had only 5 to 10,000 people living in them. And I don't know why they were wasting so much, time and, money trying to figure out where these people are getting their money from. I think what they were actually trying to do is because the towns were so small, they figured maybe they could push a libertarian or two, they could get them elected. And they could be, hey, look, we got some libertarians elected across the nation.
Well, isn't the only elected libertarian on a state level? There's one guy.
Yeah, one guy.
The rest are affiliate. They're not real libertarians. They're affiliated with the Libertarian Party. And then you have the Libertarian Party members who are on school boards or city councils. And then they have one state level elected guy.
Yeah, so
he's their superstar, that guy.
Yeah, and Justin was also he found it very entertaining, some of the stuff we were joking about a week ago on Twitter about some of the members of the Libertarian National Committee
Yeah, what was one of the members of the Libertarian National Committee? Now, again, this is like the
third largest,
the Michael Steele of the Republican Party. This is the Libertarian version. Reince Priebus.
Yeah, the Libertarian Party is a pretty large organization. It's the third largest political party in the country, and they have a list of all the representatives across the country. And there's one woman named Karen Ann Harlos who has bright pink Pepto-Bismol hair.
Now, is that a woman?
I don't know.
Because dude looks like a lady, or vice versa.
We were talking about Jim Carrey earlier. She kind of looks like Jim Carrey in character, like with the pink wig. Yeah. And then you got this other guy that's wearing a Ted Nugent hat, and he has all this long hair. He's wearing like a beaded necklace and a wife beater, and his name is Star Child. That's it.
Wait, one word or two words?
One word.
One word, Star Child. Like he's Madonna.
And this is, this is one of the leaders of the party.
Star Child is the leader of the Libertarian Party?
Yes. I should really push his picture out there.
Yeah, put his picture up. See, just might as well people see it.
Yeah.
Star Child.
Yeah.
Do you think they like make up libertarian fan fiction?
That's possible.
Like Star Child's right. He goes onto the libertarian fan fiction boards and he goes, "The time Thomas Jefferson fucked his male slaves and they fucked him back." All right. So here. What about this one? Libertarian gay porn. They all jerk off onto pictures of Patrick Henry, and they scream, "Give me liberty or give me your cocks."
It's fucking.
By Star Child.
I don't get it. I don't get how. I don't know. This is. I'm still a registered libertarian too.
And we're making fun of you. So on the screen, Star Child's in the upper right-hand corner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
you can't.
He's the one writing gay libertarian fan fiction. And then James Madison crept slowly into John Adams' bedroom, and he took off his pants.
There's that guy. Star Child looks like somebody that would let Karen Ann with the pink hair ram him from behind.
Just pegging Star Child.
Yeah.
Well, the Libertarian Party, this is where they're going. They're going to they're essentially, I've said this before, they're the Democrat Party light at this point, the LP.
Yeah, definitely. They've definitely been I don't even know if it's like on accident. I think they've been infiltrated by
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I don't know what made them go globalist.
Well, I guess you have people like Star Child that are like, "I don't care, do whatever you want." And then the people who are like doing, "Okay, we'll do whatever we want." These are the things they're doing.
Because their platform,
by making the party less religion friendly. Guys like Ron Paul, who are essentially pro-life. They're pushing even him out.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, civil liberty, individual liberty and all that shit. That's supposed to be the cornerstone of this party. And you can't you get shat on if you want, if you want to be pro-life, that's your religious. They piss me off. I'm at a loss for words right now.
I've had it. When are you gonna officially disavow? You haven't disavowed them yet.
I've disavowed the party as it stands. I just haven't denounced my, I haven't terminated my membership yet and burned my card as you requested.
Yeah, you have to do it on air once we get this video shit up and running.
Yeah, I'll have to. Well, I can't do it live, but I'll pre-record it right before the show and then stream it.
In other news, I think you mentioned to me that Trayvon Martin is getting an honorary degree. Well, look at that.
That pisses me off.
Why does it piss you off?
Because he has a degree and I don't.
He was 17 years old and got a degree. So his parents get up on stage, they're all clapping, and then the dean goes, "Okay, Ms. Trayvon Martin, here's your honorary degree for your son. He got shot, and yeah, here you go. Woo! Yeah!"
Yeah, so allegedly
it was his degree. You think it was from Kang's College of New York?
Holy shit.
Gives me that university.
Jesus Christ. He allegedly, this is total bullshit. I don't give a shit.
Right.
He allegedly wanted to be a pilot. So they gave him a degree in aeronautical science. And do you really think he wanted to be a pilot? If you look at all his social feeds, he was, making it rain. He was smoking weed. He was throwing up gang signs, flashing guns.
Yeah, he wanted to get high, just not that kind of high.
Exactly.
What I think is the news is reporting it all wrong anyway. He actually isn't getting an honorary college degree. They mix it up. His mother just had a kid, and she named him DeVry. That's what it is. You're confusing the DeVry University with his new baby brother DeVry.
That's the school I went to, and I stopped going.
They all thought, oh, he's getting an honorary degree from DeVry. No, he just has a new brother named DeVry.
I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kid out there named DeVry.
I'm sure there are. Yeah, I forgot who told this joke. I think it was Norm Macdonald. Someone was like, "Oh, my kid got into so and so college. My kid got into so and so college. Well, my kid got into DeVry." And they go, "What do you do? Open the door?" I forgot what that was from. I think it was Norm Macdonald. Someone will tell me later on Twitter.
That sounds like something Norm Macdonald would say.
Yeah, what do you do? Open the door?
That dry humor.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
This article that I used for Trayvon Martin is from BBC. And
of course it is.
So of course they go into the story. The unarmed black teenager was walking home where he got into an altercation with George Zimmerman, the son of a white father and Hispanic mother.
The son of a white father and God damn it.
He argued he acted in self-defense and with justifiable use of deadly force.
That's annoying. So, did you see this thing about the woman in Florida who got thrown into the pool?
Yes, that pisses me off.
By a bunch of teens.
Yep.
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm sure most of our listeners heard of it, but if you haven't, Sal, I'm gonna put it in the chat. All right. Story, and with the video, we can play a bits of it. You see it?
Ads pop up here. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, Florida teen who threw woman into pool is arrested. So what happened? I'm not even sure of the full story because when it was happening, I think it was yesterday or the other day, I was like, why are all these like dozens of black people, running around a pool? And then one of them takes an elderly woman with dogs holding dog leashes with dogs on the end, slams her onto the concrete, and then eventually ends up throwing her in the pool. And watch out, the beginning might be an ad. So if you want to play the video.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the mute button here. CNN sucks.
Yeah, every video, like YouTube, it's like every third video. With CNN, it's every video is an ad. They got to get that money. Like, all those other organizations aren't paying them enough, apparently.
It's not letting me.
It's there.
Yeah, it's not letting it.
Well, apparently the teenager who.
All
right. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, go play it.
Forever have to go through that.
Bruises on her arms, her legs, even her ankle. Nancy James says she's seen the video and even she still can't believe what happened to her on Saturday.
I didn't even really get to walk in, and this kid comes from behind, picks me up, drops me, and drags me into the pool.
And then, of course, they're all running around
James
laughing.
Says she's on the association board at Players Place Apartments and went to the pool house following several complaints from residents about a party, about loud music. She said she first called police and then wandered over with her dogs, tried to get someone to turn down the music.
Kids are kids, no matter what. They're going to have parties, they're going to have this. I didn't care, just lower the music.
But then, out of nowhere, she was ambushed by that
dude,
16-year-old
like,
who has
put a
turned
wrestling
himself
move on
since
her.
making the news. After she was tossed in, video shows people running off. Her dogs ran off too. Some of her neighbors are outraged.
Just shouldn't happen. He's the kid that just has not evolved yet into
Ooh.
what he's supposed to be as a human being.
Yeah.
Oh man, I like her.
Yeah, she was 68 years old. She's 68 years old. And apparently, I think a couple people were arrested. One of the kids turned themselves in.
Yeah, after he was doxxed on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. People went at it because law enforcement wasn't going to do fucking anything about it.
Nope.
It takes 4chan or Poll or something like that, or these Twitter DM groups, to actually go after these people and find them. Like the bike lock guy, the professor with the bike locks.
Yeah, no one was going to do anything about that either.
Nope, but he was found.
I guess she said that he's not evolved. if that was just like, someone on TV saying that about someone that happened to be black, they would be branded a racist immediately. They'd be getting attacked.
Yeah,
fired.
It's like she's a 68-year-old woman that was just slammed onto the concrete and thrown into a pool. We'll let her go with that one.
Yeah.
I guess it takes assault. The only time you're allowed to be kind of sort of racist by mistake is 24 hours after an assault by that race. That's like the new rule.
Jesus.
I think that's the new rule. So, Aaron Hernandez getting out of jail party, Sal.
That's awesome.
we should celebrate.
Yeah, so apparently a judge decided to throw out the murder case after he kills himself.
Now, would he still have been in jail?
I mean, I don't know. The other murder case was thrown out as well. I think that would have been it. I don't
well,
know
if that's the case, play the video I just put in the chat. If that's the case, then let's have a good time. That's what I say.
What did you put in there? Is there going to be an ad in this one too?
Let's suppose that you're writing a really.
It's gonna cut right into our flow of the show. So that's awesome. Yeah.
Oh shit! Are we gonna get suspended?
No, we're not monetizing anymore because they keep taking out the monetization anyway. Aaron Hernandez! You scumbag! This is like Morning Zoo 101 right here, Sal.
Well, somebody has
But
to
we're
celebrate.
celebrating the suicide of a man who killed multiple people.
Well, we're celebrating his non-conviction, I guess.
Yeah. I guess he didn't have to kill himself.
Or maybe you have to kill yourself to get the murder conviction tossed. So it's been erased because he died before his appeal was heard. So he was in the middle of an appeal.
So they just did it because he died. And they were like, oh, judge agrees to toss Aaron Hernandez's murder conviction.
Yeah.
Might as well. Well, there you go.
Like the music.
I mean, it's not like it was the Pope that, said he's innocent, but hey, what are you gonna do?
The guy.
Yeah, apparently Odin Lloyd's family, the guy he killed, Odin Lloyd, was in court and they appeared very emotional at the decision. Apparently they didn't like it, obviously.
Yeah, they said in our book he's always going to be guilty.
Yeah.
So I think if he was still alive, he would. I don't think he'd be able to. I don't think he would have won his appeal, basically. So yeah, he needed to kill himself for this.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah. So he would have probably been found guilty, but the judge they were just said we'll give him some leeway. I say fuck that shit. Who cares? He killed people. He's guilty. I don't care if he kills himself in jail. He still killed people. Fuck him. And I'm looking at Odin Lloyd's. I guess what is this? His ex-wife or sister or whatever. She's crying.
Yeah.
Like he killed him. But hey, celebrate! Fucking liberal judges. Woo! Making up rules as they go along.
So does this apply for suicide bombers?
What, like Muslim suicide bomb?
Yeah.
Like the 9/11 guys?
Yeah, all 19 hijackers not guilty because they can't defend themselves in court.
You can't cross-examine them, Sal, so they're not guilty.
Hey, that's logical. Makes a lot of sense.
I'm not a lawyer or anything, but it makes sense.
That's fucking
Jesus fucking Christ.
I gotta cut this music.
Yeah, you're done. We're done. Enough of that.
Cool. Oh, Cool and the gang rape.
Yeah, cool. Yes, it was Cool in the gang rape.
That's great. Oh,
so
shit.
here's another one. I want to pull. If we're gonna pull up some crime stuff, we're Pat Dixon. This is a New York crime report with Pat Dixon and 3 arrested for starting an airport brawl. Oh, I bet you that one really flew.
I wonder what Pat would think of your Pat.
It's awful. My Pat is awful. That was the first time. I think that was my first time ever doing it.
It's not too bad. I knew exactly who you were trying to be.
Yeah. Pat Dixon. We need to go to a show sometime soon when I'm not dying. I'll send them an email and compoundmedia.com. Make sure you check them out because either me or Sal or both of us are somewhere on there at some point sometimes.
Yeah, man.
Check them out. Here, Sal, I'm going to put this in the chat.
Oh, jeez.
Check out this story. It's not a video, just a story, and I would like you to read it as a bedtime story, a pre Stefanie and Halsey story.
That works. All right, let me open this up. So, let's see what we have here. What the hell is happening here? I just got booted from the chat. That's wonderful. That was wonderful right there, what just happened.
What did just happen?
I got booted from the chat.
Oh, so that was just dead air.
No, it will still be recorded on my end.
Oh, all right. Well, what are you going to do? Did you get the story? Pull up the story.
Yeah, let me see what we got here.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, "Hey,
You thought
I'm definitely not ready to talk."
It pissed me off because I refused to read it.
I got so angry with the article.
Oh, these fucking... Oh, my God. I should...
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
I gotta put these people up, too, because they're funny looking.
Yeah, this happened. Yeah, this was just reported today at 2:30. The names here, the names of the people, Devontae Garrett, Janice Wall, and Desmond Wall. So there you go. We're just going to give you the names, and everyone else can guess the rest.
Wait, what are we trying to guess?
Nothing. All right, read the story.
No, where are you going with this?
No, just read the story. It's a good thing. This is a nice story.
All right, let me I put their faces up here. Let's see. Okay, 3 arrested for starting an airport brawl. Catch the spirit and maybe a few left hooks.
You gotta love the Post.
Who wrote? Did friggin' Kuntzman write this?
No, he's the Daily News, Gersh Kuntzman.
Okay. The latest airline disaster erupted on terra firma Monday night when 3 knuckleheads from Long Island sparked a melee over Spirit Airlines flight cancellations in Florida. That sounds like something that Pat would have written.
Yeah.
Desmond Wall, 22, of Selden, and Brentwood residents Janice Wall and Devontae Garrett, 24 and 22, threatened to fight Spirit employees at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, which was packed with stranded passengers after Spirit nixed 9 flights Monday due to an ongoing contract dispute with its pilots.
Well, that's the spirit.
So the pilots were basically striking. These people flipped out. So the Spirit terminal was heaving with about 500 travelers who grew increasingly aggressive to the point of near violence toward airline employees. As the trios screamed at the workers around 10:30 p.m., according to the arrest reports. Let's see. The atmosphere which Desmond Wall and co-defendants caused was one that resembled the start of a riot, the reports say.
Nice.
The 3 resisted arrest and threatened officers who tried handcuffing them, and the brief fracas was caught on cell phone video.
Fracas!
I like this guy's writing. Wall, and Garrett are charged with inciting a riot, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and trespassing, and are being held on $10,000 bond. It was immediately clear who their attorneys were, and family members couldn't be reached.
All right, let's end it there. But I just want to...
I got their pictures up there. I got to take them down.
You got the pictures up there?
I mean, you're not going to find their fathers. Of course you're not going to reach the family members.
Well, unless they do a jail search.
No, it's funny. The guy, the kid that slammed the 68-year-old woman and then threw her in the pool, they found his father in a jail search. He's away for murder.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's right. His father's in jail for murder. The kid that slammed the old woman. Well, and this brings it to like a more serious, broader issue. Is I think the newest stat that came out is that 77% of Black births are via single mothers. Like the father doesn't stay around.
Yeah,
like it's getting worse.
I agree.
The destruction of the Black family. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
I think the last time it was done, it was checked. It was 70%. So it's only getting worse. And I think I've said it before. You know, the Black family has been strong, and it survived slavery. It survived persecution. It survived post-Civil War. It survived Jim Crow. You want to know what the Black family can't survive, Sal? Left-wing Democrat policies.
Exactly. And because of the climate leftists created, just pointing out what you did is considered racist.
Yeah. Me pointing out that Black families are falling apart because of the government is racist.
It's disgusting. And somebody on TV that used to love doing that, besides masturbating to, coworkers, Bill O'Reilly was that was one of his main things he would fight for, is the black families.
Right.
They're falling apart, and he wanted to point it out, and he's considered a racist for it.
Right. Sal, I sent you something in the chat.
Oh, I'm getting. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
Oh, I took care of that. And,
okay. Cool.
Yeah, our guest should be coming up in a few minutes. We that hour went by quick.
Holy shit, it did.
Yeah, the left is still melting down. People are crying not only because of Comey. The Rangers just lost the series.
Ah, no! Did they?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna be crying. You take over this interview. I'm done. Bye.
Yeah, the New York Rangers are done.
I'm not joking. I'm seriously leaving. No, I'm not leaving. That'd be terrible.
They won 4-2 in Game 6.
Oh wow. Well, it was a good run.
Hey, they can rebuild.
Every year we have a great team. Here's Sports Talk with Ian and Sal.
There you go.
Well, every year they have a good team. They have good young players. They have a good mix of veterans, foreign and domestic players, and they always make it to the playoffs. They're always one of the top teams in the league for the past decade, and they make it to the second or third round in the playoffs, and then they just blow it.
Well, they lost to a Canadian team. We're about to have a Canadian on the show in a few minutes. You can yell at her.
Oh well, it's gonna be the long day, the day of the long rakes, where we rake all the Leafs back into Canada. These Canadians, they come down here, they take our political commentary jobs. They took our jobs.
So, and yeah, everything that's trending right now besides Comey is sports. Because you have
especially the Comey.
Yeah, you got the Spurs and the Rockets game on right now.
Oh, basketball. Who cares about basketball? Well, I know who do. Basketball Americans care. What?
Obviously that apparently that game ended. This old white guy who's been playing on the Spurs for years, named Manu Ginobili.
Yeah. I think he's Spanish. I'm not sure where he's from. I have no idea anything about basketball.
Okay. I think he's Europe. Yeah, I think he's from Europe. You're right. And,
he's European.
He blocked a shot. He blocked what would have been a game-winning shot from like one of the top players in the league. So everyone's celebrating the Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope.
Yeah.
European Americans unite. Hail victory.
Blocked James Harden. That's I don't know if you know in basketball who James Harden is. He's that guy with the friggin' huge beard that looks like an idiot.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
He dated one of the Kardashians. Yes.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if he dated one of the Kardashians, but I just assumed. I swear to God.
Holy shit.
Man, I don't know.
It's a crazy news day, though.
Yeah, Comey, the Rangers fucking blowing it, old women getting beat up, finding out the kid that did it, his father's in jail for murder, celebrities freaking out. It's been hilarious. I'm loving it.
Allegedly, WikiLeaks offered to hire James Comey after his firing. I'm assuming that's a troll.
Yeah, you know what that is. It's like, hey, James, want a job?
Oh, man. Somebody did that to me recently at another website.
What, they were going to hire you?
Somebody thought they were being funny, saying that, that we're hiring over here. Come on over.
Oh, forget. Yeah. Well, let's... I'm having fun doing this. I don't give a shit. I like to do my radio show, and I like to do what I do when I'm not dying and sick.
There's a tweet by I'm trying to find who this guy is. Nabil Aziz. You know, he's obviously Muslim.
Right.
He had a tweet. Hello. Oh, we have our guest on.
All right. Yeah, Stephanie has joined us.
Hi.
Stephanie, how you doing?
Hi.
Good. How are you? Sorry, I didn't want to just like butt in, but
No, that's fine.
What did you pop in on? Obviously a Muslim.
yeah, I literally just was like, I wonder what they're talking about. One of my favorite topics.
I'll tell you what I'm talking about. This guy Nabil Aziz, he tweeted after the French election. He a quote from Prophet Muhammad: "Never will a nation succeed that makes a woman its ruler."
Did somebody say Muslim?
We're gonna look at that. Oh, whoa, it's a room full of Islamophobes, apparently.
Of course. Yeah, I'm definitely a proud Islamophobe.
Yeah, so he says France dodged a bullet.
No. Boo. But anyway, let's introduce our guest tonight. I guess we have Halsey English, the editor-in-chief of HalseyNews.com, and Stefanie MacWilliams, editor-at-large and content manager at Halsey News. I just want to give a brief intro. Halsey News features news and analysis, weekly investigative reports, daily radio broadcasts, and video interviews with all the top experts in their fields to give you the information you need to find out where their truth is hiding. So, guys, how you doing tonight?
Can't complain, that's for sure.
Well,
I'm doing very well.
Yeah, Sal and I were just yelling about why Canadians are taking all the conservative political commentary jobs.
Yeah, seriously, what is going on? Like all the like rebel media people,
like Justin Trudeau as prime minister. I think just like it's mobilizing everybody to try to do something. They're like, I don't know, my vagina is just growing further every day.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I feel like this is the first time that I'm like, oh, okay, I have to like actually like vote in the Conservative Party leadership races right now. I have to care about this. I have to like pick a candidate. Like, it's crazy. I usually focus on the United States, so.
Right. Well, do you think Canada's lost? Is that why, or?
I honestly, our politics are extremely boring. Everyone's liberal. There's really no diversity. Even like our conservatives are liberal. It's not as interesting to me, to be honest. So, but there is some interesting things going on. I obviously want the country to be better and not be a total cucklandia. So,
right. Like what? Like if of conservative areas of Canada, like is like Winnipeg a conservative area? Like what are the conservative areas of Canada?
Definitely the Western Canada is much more conservative. I lived in Alberta for a year and a half in a oil field town called Grand Prairie, and definitely there is a lot more conservative. It feels like living in a different country. I live in Ontario now, which is like extremely liberal, but yeah, I'd say Winnipeg also falls into that same, maybe a little less than Alberta, but definitely more than Ontario. A little more sane.
Yeah, because when I went to Montreal is uber liberal, right? That's like as liberal as it's gonna get. Yeah, because I used to go there all the time before I was 21, because the legal drinking age was 18. And this was before 9/11 when you didn't need a passport. So my friends and I would constantly just zoom up to Montreal and get drunk. And you would try to talk to somebody in English, and they would just give you a nasty look and say something in French and walk away.
I'm not even sure if I've ever been to Montreal and had a conversation with someone. There's literally a strip bar like every 8 feet.
Yes.
In Montreal. And the only thing that interrupts the strip bars is the casino.
Yes.
So it's like, I don't know. I didn't think I stopped to have like chit chat with anyone while I was there.
Even if you're looking for directions, like I said, this is like year 2000 before GPS. So you go, how do I get to St. Catharines and blah, 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 blah. And you'll try to talk to, a Montreal woman, and she'll just give you a dirty look and keep walking.
I mean, me personally, I'm a math guy, right? Like I like to put things in terms of math. I like to solve problems. And the thing that Montreal had me really going with is that you're young, you're drunk, you go into a strip bar, and then you realize they don't have singles.
Yeah.
The smallest bill they have is a 5, and you have to look at it and go, how is this going to work?
Yeah, because it's coins. It's change.
Oh,
Yeah, you literally chuck toonies at the strippers. It's really the only option.
I want to go there. It sounds like a better version of Atlantic City.
That's hilarious. I've never thought about this, but that's so true.
It's
Atlantic City without the crackhead.
Exactly. It's a better, cleaner, just angrier version of Atlantic City.
So they're French and have like hairy armpits, but they don't. There's no like nasty crackheads like lying on the curb.
Yeah, except for the Haitians that they let in because they have to feel equal.
Syrians and
equality, French-speaking blacks, bring them in. Oh, Haitians, they could fit right in with Quebecan culture. Not so much.
It's kind of weird though, because I also find, like, in my experience, the Quebec people are definitely the most racist and the most French supremacist.
I mean, the last terror attack you had wasn't it Quebec? Person from Quebec?
Yes, it was the Quebec mosque shooting.
Oh,
yes,
the mosque shooting. Was there also like a stabbing or something?
That sounds familiar, but I honestly forget.
This is all workplace violence.
Oh, of course.
You're right.
Fortunately, we don't have a ton of terrorist attacks in Canada, at least not yet.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it stays that way.
So when's your next presidential election?
Our prime minister election is in 2019.
Whatever you call that guy up there that's puppeted by George Soros.
The guy that's not going to be the guy from Shark Tank.
Yes.
Oh, good. No, absolutely. I was so annoyed by that because I literally just got my voting ballot and Kevin O'Leary's name is still on it. He dropped out so late. So you just know some people who don't follow anything are still going to vote for him, even though he's not actually there. Like,
I mean, he's actually the only one on the show that's even slightly amusing. I mean, Mark Cuban is quite possibly the biggest dick on the planet.
Yeah.
Right?
So the fact that he has to even sit near that guy and he can actually put up with him a little bit is just astounding. So maybe he can put up with Canadians and hippie Canadians and Muslim Canadians. I mean, maybe he's got the chops if he could actually deal with that dickhead.
But he dropped out. So bye, Kevin O'Leary.
So now who's the
new guy's name like Super French?
Maxime Bernier. Yes, he's the front runner right now.
His name is Maxime.
Maxime.
Oh, Maxime.
Maxime Bernier. He's extremely
like the magazine.
What?
Maxim.
Pretty much that. Maxime Bernier. No, he's very very, very French, but he also kind of like tells the Quebec nationalist types to screw themselves. So he might actually do okay. And he's good looking and very like charming when he talks, which is I think needed to be Justin Trudeau because this man literally got votes based on his looks. And so, people are saying, oh, how are you supporting Bernier? He's not as tough on immigration and stuff. And I'm like, no one's going to vote for Kelly Leach. She's miserable. Like she just comes across as an angry shrew.
She has no chance against Trudeau anyways.
No, exactly. That's the point, right?
It's pragmatism.
I had that conversation with somebody like, and I'm an extremely anti-Islam person. I see immigration as probably the most important issue, but to me, if you can't beat Trudeau, it's pointless anyway, So I think obviously you have to sacrifice a little bit, and Bernier isn't like a lunatic about it, so I think he'll be fine, and I hope he wins. I pray he wins. We have a few years. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, every one of our shows we've done, this is number 33, always ends up somewhere back to Islam, even if we don't mean it to.
We have the same problem on our site. We put out calls for writers and we get 25 people. They all say, I'm going to submit. We get deluged with articles and 24 of them are about how Islam sucks.
I've been so good about not writing about Islam lately. Haven't you noticed? It's been like 2 weeks.
I can't. I'll get drowned out by literally everyone else on the site. We're like telling our writers, we're like, hey guys, you think you can write about something else? They're like, why? You were trying to censor us? No, we just don't talk about anything else.
There's so much Islam.
It should be Halsey, I hate IslamNews.com.
No, it made us come up. We're actually spinning off a site where we're going to just talk about Islam. We're launching it in about 3 weeks. It's called Dire Online, documenting Islamic radicalism everywhere. And we're going to be launching it in about 3 weeks, where all we're going to do is write about and post videos about and talk about Islam.
Right. Now, I have a question for you, because there's a big discussion within Islam and with conservatives about a reformation within Islam Do either of you guys think a reformation within Islam is possible?
That is ridiculous. That is just so ridiculous. That I don't even know how that could even be entertained as a thought.
Oh, it's out
the
there.
only way that even slightly being considered is somewhere in 4chan where they're trying to make you laugh your ass off or something like that. That is such bullshit.
No, it's out there. There's a
kill gays, or do we throw gays off the building? Should we throw acid at this woman, or should we tame ourselves and just throw lit matches at her?
No, you're exactly right. But the thing is, there are people out there that believe it. There's a guy named Zuhdi Jasser. He's on Fox News all the time. He's friends with Sebastian Gorka. They believe in this Islamic Reformation fantasy.
Well,
Zuhdi Jasser, he's a spokesperson for the Clarion Institute, and they have like $20 million in funds to push their Islamic Reformation message out there.
And you know what you're going to find? That every single one of them is in on the IPO for Aramco when Saudi Arabia puts it on the market. There is no amount of money. There is no amount of anything. Like, the only reason someone would possibly say something nice about Islam in a public forum is because they're about to tell you that they're lightening their stance on immigration. So, like, that's the only reason why someone would be like, you know what? These people are actually really okay. Like, I think that we should really encourage them to flourish and grow and explore their sensitive side. Like, no, it's just not happening. I mean, it doesn't matter. It just will not happen.
I've seen the one I'm familiar with is Majid Nawaz from Quilliam Institute or whatever, and I mean, I see him as like he's an enemy of the he's I'm a big fan of Tommy Robinson, who's a British anti-Islam activist, I suppose, and him and Majid Nawaz like constantly have this like feud going, and it really shows how like what a liar Majid is. He I want to reform Islam, but now I'm going to go after somebody for criticizing Muhammad. To me, the only way you could ever reform Islam is if you acknowledge that Muhammad was not to be emulated, which they will not do. No Muslim is going to do this, and the ones that do are going to get murdered. So I think it's suicidal to put any stock in these so-called reformers. I mean, I'm not going to impede what they're doing, but get the hell out of my way.
Right. I think anyone who believes that they can reform Islam just doesn't understand Islam at all. Because basically the idea of Islam, and I don't even think that if you sat them down and got them to firmly admit that Islam, Muhammad, whatever was wrong, that it was this, it was that, it was this, it was that, the culture is in such a way where the only way they're going to change in the slightest is by losing a war. That is the absolute only way that they're going to finally just say enough is enough. We can't do this anymore. No more of those pointy things that go boom. Like, seriously, that's the only way that there will be a reformation. If they say we have absolutely had enough, we can't do this anymore.
Right. I mean, because when I studied, I've been in the anti-Islam movement now for about 10 years now.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been in the anti-Islam movement for like 10 years, and even the beginnings of Islam and how the Quran was written is extremely suspect. There's rumors about a Nestorian monk helping Muhammad write the Quran. So it's pulling Christian details with pagan details, a la the moon god. I'm sure you guys heard of that. And basically combining them. So Muhammad now has that book that's an all-encompassing theocratical worldview.
Well, yeah, and look how he sort of bastardized like Judaism, right? To better, convert the Jews that he wasn't, cutting their heads off.
Right.
With the praying multiple times a day and the not eating pork and there's a lot of like not similarities necessarily, but you can definitely see where his influence was. And obviously the reason for it was to spread the religion. It clearly wasn't that God told it to him, because to me, the idea that a God would exist that would tell him one thing in Mecca and one thing in Medina is pretty stupid.
Well, I mean, Joseph Smith, he was told something that,
oh Lord,
actually, when he tried to repeat it, it was basically told to him that God was angry. So he, of course, had to repeat it differently. It was similar, but different.
Yeah. Well, yes. And Mormonism is pretty much universally seen as ridiculous. Right. And yet you don't see it's funny. You don't see the left like filleting Mormonism. Most of them just think it's dumb. Yet Islam, we're like, oh, this beautiful religion, we must revere this. Like, are you kidding me? They both have about as likely chance of being in any way real or valuable.
You see, with Mormonism, I feel bad because the thing is like, I haven't met a Mormon that's not a nice person or
they are the nicest people ever.
But the problem is like, I remember when Mitt Romney announced that he was going to be running for president, I was just like, well, that's it. I mean, Barack Obama's got a second term, and people were like, oh, it's because he's a venture capitalist, because he's this, because he's that. No, he's just retarded. Like, I mean, people are going to logically look at this man and go, oh, he's one of those magic
underpants. Yep.
You know, like, so it doesn't matter. He could have the best plan. He could run the best campaign. In the end, when people get in the voting booth, they're going to say, you know, I really want that guy running the country, but he really believes in magic underpants. And that there was a gospel of Jesus found in Utah or Missouri or something like that.
Hey, why not?
I thought it was also New York.
Well,
I actually.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go. Your guess.
I used to know a lot more about Mormonism because I found it so fascinating. At one point, myself and my ex-boyfriend, they like pursued us and like tried to convert us basically. And it was just like, we got like drawn into these like Mormons and we became friends with all these people. And it was just like, it is honestly like when people say Mormons are the nicest people ever, like it's true. Like they are literally so nice that, but when you look more into it, it's like, it's very cult-like. It really is. Like from what the way that they would present themselves, and I'd be like, oh, they're just genuinely nice. And then you like look online and find that there's literally like a rule of like, this is how you talk to the converts. And, you know, like everything is so fake. It's extremely, extremely, extremely fake. So it's weird, but I don't have a problem with them. Honestly, I don't think they're like detrimental to society like Islam
they're not throwing people off a building.
No, I mean, whatever. They have magic. Lots of kids.
The biggest problem with Mormons is that I can't have a realistic conversation with one of them without seeing that South Park banner that says this is what they really believe, you know? And so like, that's literally what I see as I'm talking to them. And I notice that my mind's kind of like just drifting away. I'm not really able to sit there and focus on like when they're telling me that, you know, I should like love my neighbor and all this stuff. And then I'm like sitting there looking at them and I see Terrence and Philip like on their shoulder. Yeah. You know,
Joseph Smith was a good man. Dum-dee, dum-dee, dum.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hearing in my head. And I mean, I'm comfortable in my faith. I don't have to worry about like, you know, people trying to convert me or anything like that. So, I mean, when they're giving me the spiel about how this is going to happen and this is going to happen and Joseph Smith said this and this means this, I'm just like thinking, you know, this is what these people really believe. And I'm like, okay, guys, it's been fun. You know, we'll talk really soon. And I just walk away not remembering anything that they even bothered to say, but I laugh for like the next 2 days.
Right. See, I went through like some of the process of like I went to their lessons and learned stuff, and like I wanted to know like how they presented it, basically, and it was very telling and very interesting. And the most interesting part was nothing to do with the religion itself, because I do find it quite ridiculous, but it was the way that they behaved and the way that they were so rigid in how they approached every little thing. And I'm obviously not saying that like every single random person that's a Mormon is like this, but like these were like the, you know, the guys in the white shirts and pants who go to your house and convert you, you know, everything is
bicycles. Yep.
Yes. I rolled somebody's bike onto a highway once. They came. Yeah. Is that the Latter-day Saints people?
Yeah, the Mormon.
The Mormons are the Latter-day Saints.
They prefer to be called the Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. I was at my friend's apartment, where we used to live, near where we by our old high school, Ian, and
Madeline. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the guys on his bike insulted my friend's apartment because it was messy. So I took his bike and rolled it in front of a truck.
Oh my god!
Take that, you Mormon! Stephanie, you said you study them. What is the Mormon view on Jesus? Because I know, you know, the Apostles' Creed version, which I believe in 19. You know, what's the Mormon view of Jesus?
I honestly don't remember. I don't remember anything about their yeah, of course God does. He knows everything. So learn this quickly.
So the whole thing about Jesus in the Mormon tradition is that when the Israelites were expelled from Israel around the year 1 or 18 or whatever it was, that God punished them by making them red, which made them actually the Native Americans.
Oh yeah.
So, and it was when they left, they took a hidden gospel of Jesus and they brought it, and that was the basis of their whole faith, was this book called the Book of Mormon, which was found by this guy, Joseph Smith. And it's, if you ever get a chance, listen to Bill Maher. He does this thing about Mormonism. And he says, like, it's a good idea to look at what the person who is a prophet was doing before they were a prophet. And right before he like discovered this Book of Mormon, Joseph Smith was a con man. And, and he was like wanted in like 5 different states.
Pick this up.
And Bill Maher says he was basically, if he was born today, he'd be the guy on the internet trying to sell you fake boner. You know, like, and so he claimed that he found these after an angel visited him. I don't remember if it was New York or Missouri, somewhere like that.
Yes, someone said the angel Moroni.
So he found these special stones that allowed him to translate this other rock that he found somewhere else. And he said he was going to translate it, and he translated it into the Book of Mormon. That's what I was joking about before, is I guess South Park actually had that correct, where someone said, well, why don't you test him? You know, say you lost the original translation and that he should read it to you again. And he actually said that God punished him by not allowing him to say it exactly as he had before, but it'll be very similar.
Not exactly like God said. I mean, the might be the, but it's just pretty much the same thing, believe me.
So, and I mean, there was a lot of things in the Mormon faith which over the last like however many couple hundred years that it's been in existence, where they just literally say something was wrong in the original. Like there was a thing where they actually said that like Black people were punished by God, that's why he turned them black.
Yes.
And so that people would be able to identify them in the crowd. But then in the 70s, when that started being like fashionable to say, they said that God actually changed his mind, and they got in touch with the people at the church, and that Black people are okay now.
I was just kidding.
Hey, I'm joking. Black people, A-okay in my book. It is the 70s, and they do make good music.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's, and the thing is, we're laughing about it, but this is actually what they preach. This is what they tell people.
I was literally just going to say, we're laughing about it, but this is exactly what I wish Islam had. Like, you know, a fail-safe that you can actually change things in the religion. I wish it was like Mormonism, where they could just be like, well, God changed his mind. Black people are cool.
Right. Yeah.
The thing is, and this is the part that people, and I hate to like get a little preachy, but like people in the West are never going to understand about Islam in general, is that the religion didn't turn the culture like this. The culture was what spawned the religion.
Yep.
Our Arab culture has always been warlike and tribal, and it's always been about strength. And I'm not saying this even like in a negatively judgy way, like, because back then things had to be like that. Like, I mean, most societies, especially in the middle of a desert where there's no food and water, like you had to take what you got. You lived in like ridiculously harsh environments. Mm-hmm. So it was only natural that Islam would be born in a place like that. The problem is they've taken it to such an extent that even if you removed Islam, like let's say that God sent a prophet down again, and he actually gave him a budget where he didn't have to go through one guy, and he said, like, everyone will now know that Muhammad was a fake prophet. If you removed it, they all took the Quran, brought it in the street and burned it and said, we will never talk about Islam again, it would be absolutely no different there than it is today.
Because of the culture.
They put their guns away and go home. They would just find another reason.
No. I always described Islam as an Arabic supremacist movement because of that's just the way the culture is.
Oh, for sure. They get upset when you translate the Quran out of Arabic. Like that's like considered blasphemy in even Muslim countries.
Yeah. So how would reformers even think that they would be successful? Because
that's what I said before. It's
in and of itself
to even
apostasm?
think that they would. It's not even like we can sit here and go, well, maybe if they did X, Y, and Z. It's just never ever going to happen. So the idea that it will be reformed, and I'm not suggesting that we need to go over there and nuke the entire Middle East just to make Islam go away. It's just there has to be a conscious realization of what it is we're fighting.
Right.
And it's not like they're going to come here and be nice, calm Westerners who are going to be concerned about like, you know, their job and their house and all of that. They will always be willing to sacrifice for that higher cause because this is what they've always believed.
Well, that's the thing. I totally agree with you that like Islamic, I mean, I don't think Islam helped, you know, Arabic culture, but I do agree with you that you can't just be like, okay, don't be Islamic, and that's not going to fix anything. I think that other places succeeded because we had other value systems in place. You know what I mean? I think if we just like you said, theoretically just eliminated Islam somehow, it would just leave a vacuum for the same tribal insanity. And I always wonder if part of it's just because of their just living in such a harsh climate and having a large population and things like that. If it's like, I don't know, like I feel like maybe, does this comfort them in some odd way that it's like, well, my life is terrible, but Allah wills it, you know? I wonder.
Yes, they do believe that. And B, there already is a perfect example of an Islamic reformation. It's called Indonesia. Okay, yeah. Indonesia is not an inherently Arab or Muslim type place. It's not in a harsh environment. It's not a place where poverty is overwhelming. It actually was a very civil society that adopted Islam almost willingly. And every day that Islam is there, you hear more and more about it. They just executed their first person for blasphemy. They just caned their first person in the street. Like, they have progressively gotten harsher and harsher and harsher the longer Islam has taken over the country. So you can see an example of where it is not just the harsh reality of life that led them to being like this. It's Islam being imported that led them to being like this.
Yeah, I think Winston Churchill called the religion itself retrograde. Like it's like an infection in people's minds. Like it takes over. Like it turned into like a pod person almost. Like the whole culture starts to change. Like you said, Indonesia has nothing to do with Arabs, but now here they go expressing Arab culture.
Well, the thing is, they also know, and this is even why their religion makes, secondary plans for this. They know that everywhere they go that is not dominated by Muslims is eventually going to have enough of it. Like, eventually someone's going to say, okay, enough of this shit. I've had it absolutely up to my eyeballs. We're going to war. Mm-hmm. And they have contingency plans for that. They're like, when that happens, you can start being nice and lying to them and making them think that they're your best friends and that you have no desire to like not get along and blah, 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 until you get to the point where they can't kick the shit out of you anymore. Then you could just go back to being you. But don't ever forget who you are, because you are there to completely fuck them over. So like, this is what you have to keep in your mind. And this is like scripture. This is written into the religion.
Taqiyya.
Yeah, taqiyya. That's a Shia theology, to lie to get things done, to sneak on into other cultures. And like, I've always said, make Istanbul Constantinople again. And that's another thing. Whenever you talk to Muslims on Twitter or online, they love to deflect. What about in the Old Testament? What about the Crusades? Halsey, what about the Crusades? Were the Crusades justified? I mean, should we have fought them?
In all honesty, my answer, if someone actually said that to me, I could imagine somebody like saying it and I would see it on Twitter or something.
Right.
But if someone actually had the mental deficiency to think that I would give a flying shit what happened like 1400 years ago,
right?
I barely give a shit what happened yesterday. Like, I definitely could absolutely care. The Crusades really sucked. Hey, I'm Jewish. They suck for me too. Mm-hmm. I'm not sitting here like, hey, exactly. I have a great idea. Let's go murder people, because after all, 1400 years ago, these people were dicks to these people. Right. If you're living that far in the past, there's no real argument that I really would want to get into with you, because there's just nothing I could say. Like, I can't pull out a history book and be like, listen, Christianity were assholes, and I'm really sorry for that. What can I do to make it up to you for them storming Jerusalem and taking the castle and being assholes? Well, you could literally surrender America. Oh, let me get on the phone.
Hold on, but let me take care of that. What's the only culture that still has slaves right now? Major religion.
Yep, I was just going to say that. It's the same way that you see with the white people did slavery, therefore you need to hate yourselves forever, and Western culture's evil, and blah, patriarchy. And it's like, what culture still has slavery now? If we're gonna play that game,
exactly.
It's inherently worse if you're doing it today.
Yeah, but you know what's really funny is the four of us are saying this under the presumption that slavery is wrong. They don't talk about it as if it's wrong.
That is true.
They kind of look at you like, what's the problem here?
Hold on,
I'll be right back. Yes, of course they have slaves there. They can. And you're like, no. We decided a long time ago that slavery was actually really fucked up. And they're like, oh no, it's not fucked up. We just don't do it here because it's illegal. And we have kids. That's the same thing. You know, I mean, you know, we cut their clitorises off. We like lock them in corners. We dress them head to toe in rags. Like, I mean, we have our own slaves. We just don't like outwardly say it. But like, why wouldn't we own other human beings? I mean, we just don't do it here because it's not allowed.
Right. So their excuse me. Their thing is, so it's like going out for a walk. Slavery to them. It's like, yeah. So, and what's the big deal, guys?
They're like, and the thing is though is that they're willing to make arguments that we in the West would never even do, because like we would say, listen, it is really fucked up when you go to a place like Syria. They have open markets where they are selling human beings as sex slaves, right. And they look at you there and they say, yeah, but in the Quran it says. You're like, really? You're going to argue with me? Like this is actually a discussion as opposed to a statement. Like, okay. Sorry, moving on this one. Like, I just, we're not going to connect on it, you know, like.
This is like the thing I find so like, do you guys ever think that like, when you talk to people who understand at least somewhat that Islam is bad, do you ever forget that the majority of like liberals literally think it's just like any other religion and no big deal? Like, it just blows my mind that I'm thinking this, like, yeah, I totally like when you're saying that they think slavery is fine. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Of course, to anyone else that like still thinks it's a religion of peace, that must be like a really crazy extreme view, you know? It's interesting.
The only people that honestly believe from the bottom of their heart that Islam is a religion of peace have never had any encounter with any of it in their whole entire lives. Agreed. The only reason that they believe that is because they turn on the TV and they go, oh, look, that right-wing person says Islamic people suck. They must be awesome.
Right. They're just taking the counter argument at that point.
Right. Like, oh, if right-wingers hate them, and right-wingers are Hitler, so therefore they must be the equivalent of the Jews.
Right, that's exactly how some liberals feel. I have a cousin, one of my younger cousins. Ian met him.
Oh yeah.
There's people in my family that aren't talking right now because he's defending Muslims in America, saying that they're not bad. You know, I have Muslim friends. That all this shit that people are saying, it's not true. You know, 9/11, that was just a one-time incident.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Tell that to your family, right?
Well, that's exactly what some of my other family members said. You know, where's your cousin?
Yeah. Well, Sal, explain to some of the listeners that haven't listened to us before why I would say something like that.
I lost my brother that day, and this one of my cousins, my brother babysat him. I've seen him since the first day he was born, and he doesn't think there's a problem with Islam. It's the environment that he lives in, the bubble that he's in. It's scary.
Right. And I've yelled about this before. Not all cultures are equal. Yep. Some cultures suck assholes, like Islam, like the ones that have sex with albinos to cure baby albinos to cure AIDS. They're not all equal.
No.
I don't want to get into that again.
Seriously.
Sex with albino babies is not a good topic.
It's too late for this. I need a drink.
But you know what's funny is, I mean, this is funny, but I mean, I have basically the same experience. I spent like a decent amount of time overseas, and I lived in Jerusalem for almost 10 years. And I saw the suicide bombings. I saw like the horror show that Islam brought there. And when I got back, I had family members that would argue with me that they were actually peaceful people. And I'm like, yeah, I just don't think you're talking to the right person. Right. And they're like, no, you don't understand. If only. And I'm like, oh, don't even start with the if only.
If only.
You know, there is absolutely nothing that will dissuade someone who wants to blow up a bus full of babies that maybe they're thinking the wrong way, or that their Bible really doesn't say that.
Right.
You know, like there is no such thing as a logical argument that I'm wrong, that's fucked up.
Right.
You know?
I mean, it's so infuriating to me as somebody that like I'm by no means any sort of expert on Islam. I'm still learning about it, and I find it very interesting. So I try and read about it and listen to lectures and things like that. But I know a fair amount about it, and I certainly know more than my feminist sister who she posted this video on Facebook of a debate between this Muslim girl and this like To be fair, the other girl was like, her argument was like stupid and terrible, and she did a terrible job.
Right.
But this Muslim woman argued that Islam is the most feminist religion. And my sister posted this like unironically on Facebook. And I'm like, really? It just blows my mind that the people that know nothing, people that know the absolute least, feel like they can make statements like that and go unchallenged. And if I had said anything, all of her little friends would have jumped on me and said I'm racist or something.
Right.
I mean, but we can all look at that.
Race,
but we can all look at that and say, like, our personal experience with this kind of lunacy. But just look at the Women's March. They had a woman convicted of murdering and torturing a gay person, and Linda Sarsour, who were standing up saying we need to rise above the patriarchy and fight for rights. And who?
And Razmia Oda, though, she killed like 2 Israeli students, didn't she?
She was at the second one, that I was.
Oh, the second one. I'm sorry. I can't keep track of all these murderers that they are having lead the Women's March.
Remember, I was live tweeting on my way to that march, and and you had actually tweeted back to me that they both got arrested before I even got there.
I did.
So
I totally remember that.
Now, is the terrorist one? Is she getting sent back?
I think she's already back. I think
they deported her. Thank God.
Nice.
Yeah,
but they didn't deport her. She agreed to leave.
Oh, yeah.
She said that if they dropped whatever charges of lying on the green card against her and all that she would voluntarily.
Or just like, bye. Sure, get out. Let someone else deal with you.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't much of an argument at the prosecutor's office.
Yeah, very, very true.
We got a letter saying that she'll get on the first plane if we tell her it's okay. It's like
this is a win-win. Where's the loss here?
Yeah.
Yeah, now she's causing trouble over in Palestine or wherever the fuck she's from. For the port. Sure. Now she's Israel's problem. It's terrible. All of them are terrible. Check it out. So I wanted to get into this one article that's on your site, guys, about the hand signals.
Real quick, Stephanie. You know he's going to pick the one article that we both haven't read.
Yeah, that's very true. I've skimmed it.
No. I actually did read it. That's Jamie's. It's one of my. It was really, really good. Jamie is like one of my favorite writers that we have on the site. I love them all. Don't get me wrong, but Jamie's one of the few people who like challenges the way I think about things. So I have her on my show like all the time. She's awesome.
Okay, yeah. So the OK symbol. So the OK symbol, and they've been saying this for a couple months now. This has been building up about the OK symbol being a white power symbol. You know, the 3 fingers being the W, and then the OK part where your thumb meets is the P.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen white power symbols, and that is not a white power symbol.
Well, neither is Pepe the Frog, but they say the same thing about him.
Right. It's milk, ice cream.
So I saw the milk article, and what's funny is that it's so worth making fun of for the real reason that it's the reason we laugh at is actually kind of made up. They weren't saying it's racist because it's white. They were saying it's racist because Black people, it hurts their stomach. And since we have such a culture that values drinking milk, we're actually being assholes to Black people because we're like forcing them to fit in and drink something that hurts their stomachs.
It's funny the Asians don't complain about this.
They just don't drink it.
I know. Yeah. I thought Asians were the ones who like a lot of them can't drink like lactose or whatever.
They don't do cheese. And they don't do milk.
I didn't know it was a Black thing actually. So I mean, thank you for educating me. I guess I'm impressed with you. I also don't like milk.
Are the only people that actually can tolerate lactose well. Like I think most cultures, it's not something that goes over well.
I hate milk. I love.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's like basically like cow snot.
I drink almond milk, and like not for health reasons. I just think it tastes really good.
That's what I put in my coffee.
Yeah. Actually, I will put milk in my coffee, but I can't drink it straight. Like
I put almond milk in my coffee.
You see, I'm like one of those people. Like I always say there are certain things that I just get like kind of weirdly old-fashioned about. Like I don't mind the taste of almond milk. I just feel like such a pussy when I'm drinking it that like I can't do it. Like I just have to like I'm like no, I can't do this because if someone asks me why my coffee smells so good, I can't be like, oh well, it's almond milk, and then like take a look of like really.
It's like you're drinking a cup of estrogen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, literally though.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I
that's
feel
an amazing
funny.
Aroma coming out of your coffee. Is that French vanilla? No, it's almond milk.
I'm a woman. I can get away with this.
Yes.
But I feel like, oh God, people are gonna think I'm like my mom, like caring about hippie organic food and shit.
Yeah, this is our prim and proper woman who in a chat like 10 minutes ago, she said, yeah, I really try to watch my cursing on the site because I don't want to come off as a snarky cunt.
You just outed me. I'm supposed to be very classy and smart.
Well, did you guys hear about the other hand symbol, the thumbs up? Is the 14 words?
Oh, good. Why?
Oh, no, I didn't hear
How
about
is that
this.
the
I don't
how
go
is
on
the thumbs
4chan,
up?
so I got to hear this one.
Thank God.
Yeah, the thumbs up is the 14 words. So the thumb up is 1, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers. So it's the 14 words.
What are the 14?
I just learned the 14 words, and I literally cringed so hard at how incredibly gay it is. Like I've seen it around, obviously, but I don't really like care about it. And then I finally realized what it was, and I was like, oh.
I got it. Someone's got to clue me in, so I can.
There's 14 words, and there's 88. There's 14. The old 1488. I don't know them, but it has to do with securing the existence for white children.
We must secure the existence of our people and the future for white children.
Right? Isn't that so gay?
So that's the thumbs up now. Is that saying?
Oh, on Wikipedia, it can also refer to another 14-word slogan. Because the beauty of the white Aryan woman must not perish from the earth.
What I just love about this is I can't wait till the first time I see a Democrat give a news conference and go to give either the OK symbol or the thumbs up and catch themselves because they realize they're about to, like hail Hitler on national TV. So I can't wait to actually see that where like one of them goes like, oops, and like just stops or even apologizes for it. Like they give the OK thing and they're like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be so insensitive. I would love that.
I actually thought that. I was at the dentist getting laughing gas the other day, and they were like asking me like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I gave the okay symbol, and in my like laughing gas addled state, I was like, "Oh, white supremacist!" Like, it's so stupid.
That's great.
Well, what I wonder is if the left, who are famous for this, I wonder if they're going to actually turn it into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas we all know that it started on 4chan and it was a joke.
Yeah, Operation.
Within 6 months, they're going to be like, yes, but now it is a thing. Like now that everyone knows it was a joke, but now anyone who does do it, knowing that it's offensive, now they actually mean white supremacy.
And nobody's, you have Operation OKKK, and nobody brings up the fact that 4chan, weren't they the ones that basically created the dossier that everybody uses?
So I've heard no. I've heard actually they didn't.
Okay.
There was a rumor that they did when it first came out, but they said that the people who like broke it on 4chan when they started talking about it, it was like months after it had actually gotten to the FBI. So it was actually created like that. Actually, supposedly true that British guy put it together for Jeb Bush.
Where does Ian? Who's that guy that they call Piss Dad?
His dad?
The one guy that he had something to do with handing off the dossier. What the hell is his name?
Oh, to the English MI5 guy.
Yeah, the bald guy with the glasses.
Oh, Rick Wilson.
Yeah, he had something to do with that too.
Yeah.
And the reason why he's called Piss Dad is because his son was caught. The whole thing with Trump allegedly having the woman pee, it actually happened with Rick Wilson's son, so they call him Piss Dad.
You see, whenever something like this comes out, though, is like I have a lot of friends that are on the left, and we all have like very like it's not like Nazi and communist, like we're not like adversarial type people in that aspect. We like to argue policy, we like to talk about like serious things, but whenever something like that comes out, I just wait for the calls and wonder like how I'm going to actually answer them. Like, and I remember that dossier came out on BuzzFeed and I was reading through it and I was like, okay, what am I going to say? And I remember my first friend called me up and he's like, so what do you think about that dossier? And I was just like, you know what? That's fucking awesome. And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, the fact that he paid those hookers to piss on that bed just because Obama laid in it. Like that just, like I almost get an erection out of that. That is so awesome. And he's like, you're not being serious. And I'm like, how could anyone take this seriously? But yeah, it is awesome that they think this is the gotcha moment. Like
nobody cares about this anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing about Trump, the biggest controversy was grab him by the pussy. Like a whole movement was AstroTurf sprouted via grab him by the pussy from a conversation he had in private 12 years ago. So that's the biggest thing they got. That's all they got.
Well, I had seen two jokes on Twitter right after his election. The first one was, could you imagine if he came out his inauguration and said, well, America, I really grabbed you by the pussy. And I thought that one was really good. But even better, they said, what if he gives this great presidential address at his inauguration about how he's going to make America great again and heal all the divides. And then at the very end, just come back to the mic and go, I still think he was born in Kenya.
So no, I love
these people fall for the hoax. There was another one a couple years back. Women bleed onto their white trousers to protest tampon tax outside House of Parliament. It's called the free bleeding.
Yeah.
Women were actually bleeding in their white pants outside of Parliament. Well, that one chick did do that in the marathon. I mean, that it was on TV. So I mean, I watched her actually do it. It was like the most vomitous thing I think I've ever seen. But I mean,
vomitous. Be right back. 1 second.
They're falling for it. They're falling for all the bullshit. There is nothing a leftist won't fall for. Like literally, as long as you are able to say it with a straight face and they can find a New York Times article that makes mention of it, there is absolutely nothing you can't get them to fall for. Nothing. Now, in this era of fake news, how where are the leftists gonna go? They don't have to go anywhere. They in the era of fake news, they don't believe that what we consider fake news is fake news. They think that there's their news and us assholes. Like they don't see what they think, that we're dicks for not believing this and for pointing out that it's fake news. And the most they'll ever concede is that it's not fake. They had to do it because Trump is such a threat. He's Hitler. So yeah. So this was justified. Even if they did lie, it was absolutely justified. Huh. I mean, and so Trump is literally Hitler. So the left is allowed to go with whatever fake story they want. And I don't know if you read Louise Mensch's Twitter feed. But
I can't.
I read Louise Mensch's Twitter feed when I really want to see what it looks like when someone goes unmedicated. Right.
Yeah.
It's sad.
She's being retweeted a lot tonight.
As well.
Oh, Kurt? That poor guy.
He's insane. Like, I have no other explanation.
Although, can you think of anything better that when he first came out with his first nutsy statement on Tucker Carlson, that all those guys from 4chan and shit started yelling in those flashing GIFs to try to get him to have a seizure? I'm going to sue Jew Goldstein. I'm coming after you. Yeah.
My favorite part ever was when he brought out that book that was like Tucker Carlson falsehoods or something.
Yeah, it was a folder. Yeah. It was that.
Brought out a binder.
I have this binder full of all of your false statements.
Can you imagine doing that on TV?
Well, the thing is, he didn't even open it and read it. That's what made it even better. Is he waved it at him, which it was filled with blank paper, and he's like waving it at him, like, "Don't worry, I've got the goods on you."
Trapper keeper.
Saying to him, like, "Will you just answer this question?" And he's like, "I speak to people in the CIA, and these are good people. They fight for America. They're patriots." He's like, "I get that, but what did they say? These people, how do you impede them, Tucker? How are you impugning them, Tucker? You're a horrible person. These are CIA agents." And he's like, "Okay, but what did they say?" And he's like, "You're talking to me as if I'm about to say something not true." And he never actually said it. Like for 3 minutes this went on, and all he kept saying was that he had the falsehoods on Tucker and he had the secrets on Trump, but he wouldn't tell them because Tucker was talking bad about CIA agents.
Now I want to find
then a Twitter user at Jew Goldstein put him in the hospital. So
or supposedly, yeah.
That's the end of the story.
It's so ridiculous.
Imagine calling up the police. Hello, 911. Yes, I'd like to report an assault. Do you know his name? Yes, at Jew_Goldstein. Well, could you imagine even better? Well, what did he assault with? Was it a knife? No. Was it a gun? No. Was it a chain? No. What was it? A meme. It was a flashing picture. Yeah, it was a meme. You know, that's what he did. He sent me a nasty meme.
Print it out for evidence.
Well, they can't print it out because that wouldn't induce the seizure. It was the flash.
Exactly.
So they would have to actually like put it on a thumb drive, for evidence.
I hope they rolled a big TV into the courtroom.
No, that would be the best because then the TV would give him a seizure and they'd be like, "See, it's happening again."
like, I have
the
this
foam.
Could you imagine the paper, The People versus Jew Goldstein?
In 2016, The People versus Jew Goldstein cited.
Today, Jew Goldstein was sentenced to 30 days hard labor in Leavenworth Prison for giving Kurt Eichenwalder a fucking seizure on the ground with a meme.
Poor Jew Goldstein.
Like there's a hashtag like free Jew Goldstein. Every time I see it, I just think of that. I'm like, oh my god, we don't even know this guy's name.
No.
Could you imagine, Steph, that like Justin is sitting back right now and he's going, kill somebody with a meme. You know?
I was literally just thinking of him. Yeah, one of our writers, Justin Farrell. I was just thinking of the binder of the Tucker Carlson falsehoods, and I remember when I first met him, like one of the first things he ever said to me, he made a meme of me with he put my head on Tucker Carlson's body and made Kurt Eichenwald holding a binder that says Stefanie MacWilliams falsehoods. I want to find it now. It was so good.
This guy is so lightning fast. You could be having a conversation with him about quantum mechanics, and somehow you'll go, and the PX ratio of the this and this, and all of a sudden there's a meme for it, like right in your face.
It's scary.
Like he's so fast, it's like scary, you know. And they're always exactly related to whatever it was you were talking about. Like you could be talking about like Greek economics from the 18th century, and next thing you know, there's like a meme of it, like two inches in front of your face.
It's kind of why we hired him, I think. Like, it's his best talent.
Hey, Steph, someone wrote to us when we were tweeting the show. Someone wrote, I read up on Steph MacWilliams.
Geez, here we go.
Holy shit, she is going to anal rape these people. So I'm waiting for the pegging for Sal.
You?
Why would she? I'm curious as to how that context was even there.
Wait. Some random Twitter person wrote to the Patriarchy Show that you're going to anal rape everybody.
What?
I'll
Do you think I'm a feminist or something?
When are you going to do that?
Based on the name of your show, maybe?
I don't know.
For some reason, these people think I'm a feminist. They're in for a bad time.
Maybe.
Oh,
but
geez.
apparently you're running around anally raping people.
Apparently.
This is why we named our show the Patriarchy Show, because
it really is.
we're not. It has nothing to do with the patriarchy. We just love pissing people off.
Yeah, we get
negative
reviews.
Steph is more likely to come on your show if it's called the Patriarchy Show than if it's called like anything else. Right. She's like the definition of the non-feminist.
Right. Yep. True that. I'm married with 2 kids. My wife's a stay-at-home mom, and she loves what she does. I love what she does. You know, if she wanted to work somewhere part-time, whatever. But the fact that she's able to mold the 2 children that we have into future awesome people, right. I'd much rather that than her leaving the kids with some nanny. You know.
I literally just wrote about this like yesterday.
You see, I like really I hate that what you just said is so true, because you know, like there are times like me and my wife fight, like we say things we don't mean, whatever it may be. Yeah. But I have 4 kids, and like my wife works part-time. She works 4 hours a day while they're in school. And I think to myself, like, no, I wish she was with them. Like my kids like are better people when she's with them. Like, and you know, like, does that mean that like I can't buy a better car, or that I can't do this? Like, oh well, like there's nothing that I can really imagine wanting more than her like taking care of and raising my kids, because I can't imagine that. I mean, I would fuck them up beyond belief. So that's bad enough. But I'm just saying, like, I can't imagine that we live in a world like, I mean, I think it was you, Steph, who said this, who said like, if she gets a job as a nanny, we hail her as being like, oh my God, she's willing to get out there and get into the workforce. But she raises her own kids and she's like a lazy freeloader.
Right.
You know, like, fuck that.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't imagine like anything more than I would want than my wife actually raising my kids.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm very much in favor of that. And I think that like the biggest thing to me, it's nothing to do with like whether women should work or shouldn't work or whatever. I think it's that we need to be honest with women about that. If you want to have children, and the vast majority of women will, and there is a thing called a biological clock that will time out and you won't be able to have children. Right. You need to structure your life in a way that your career works with your kids. If you want a career. And that's like, I think that's something we don't tell people at all. We kind of just say, go to college, take some stupid degree in something dumb, and then, you know, start working your way up in the career. When you finally hit the pinnacle of your career, then maybe think about getting a husband and kids. And then they're oppressed because they lose money, because obviously women want to stay home with their kids for a while. or, not even stay home, but like come home on time and spend time with them.
And listen, I'm not even saying anything bad about wives that do go. I'm not saying like, listen, my wife stays home, therefore you're like, these women suck.
No.
I'm just saying like, if I had to think of any scenario that I would like more, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. Like I can't sit here and go like, oh, you know what? If my wife made $8 million a year, it would so be worth it. And we'd be able to have the best nannies. Like whatever the sacrifices we have to make so that she can be with the kids, like I just can't imagine wanting anything less, even if it wasn't something that wound up happening. Like if it turned out, like we couldn't make ends meet, she had to work full time as opposed to part time. Like we would do it, but it's not like I would sit there and think like, wow, this really sucks.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And it's not about saying that women can't be, very career oriented, or it's just like you said. I think that the reality for most people is that it's, having a parent home with kids is a really, really good thing if you can make it work. And obviously it's not economically possible for everybody, but I don't think we do women any favors by acting. I don't like how feminists act like women will just not care about leaving their kids. I have never met a single female friend of mine with children who was not sad when they had to go back to work. Not one, not once. At the most,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So at the most I heard, oh yeah, like I'm excited to go back to work because I have some time, but like I wish I didn't have to work so much. I feel like I see her like 2 hours a day. That's like at most that I heard.
You see, I'm lucky because my wife basically makes the argument in that anybody would say to you like, oh, obviously your wife stays home because like she doesn't have any earning power, or like she would never go that far and work, or like, there's always that little dig of like, she's staying home because like, you have no other better option. My wife was a department manager at a Fortune 500 company. Like, I mean,
wow, I didn't know
she wasn't like an untrained, boob that was like just sitting around like, oh, I can't wait to get married and pump out kids so I can just, sit on the couch all day. Like if she did go back to work, or if she had never like gotten married and had kids, like her career would have probably been on par, if not better than mine.
Right.
And
that's true.
Yeah. Same with my wife. She was going to be an art restorationist, like in big churches and things like that. And she was going to make double of what I was making in sales. But she'd rather stay home with the kids, and we have to adjust. And sure, I can't buy a new car every year. It's every 2 years now. No, I'm joking. But it's better off for my family, my kids, her, me, and overall the community. Go ahead, Steph.
Well, what I was going to say about it is that for me, we do things backwards. I think if you want to have a career, you're absolutely like, say I decided I want to be a high-powered lawyer. What makes more sense? Beginning my education at 17 years old, spending all that time going into a law firm, working my way up, doing everything, realizing, oh shit, I better start having kids because I'm not going to biologically be able to anymore. Having children at the time of your life when it is the most physically taxing and difficult, and you have less energy because you're older, having those children and having to either A, sacrifice career, or B, sacrifice time with kids. Or does it make more sense to get married relatively young? I'm not saying get married at 18, but start considering that, or maybe even like, do your bachelor's degree and then, look for a husband, get married, have kids, start going back to school part-time. In 5 or 6 years, they're in school.
Yeah.
Go then. And then when you reach that pinnacle where you can go forward and you're going your career, your kids are like 10. They can survive. They're fine if you're gone until 9 at night sometimes. You know what I mean? To me, I think we teach it the complete backwards way. I think if I wanted to go balls to the wall in a career, I would still do exactly what I did and have it. I mean, I have one son and I'm divorced, but even if I wasn't, I still think I would have chosen to have a child young and have a career later on. I now have the best of both worlds, but
no. And then you have something ridiculously creepy, like what happened to me last month. I actually had a day off. Right. And my kids were all for spring break from school.
Oh, geez,
we were just looking for something to do. And the library is like a block from my house. So I figured we'll go there, we'll read a book together, and we'll take a walk. We go into the library and the lady behind the counter says, oh, are you here for the puppet show? Oh, puppet show. And they're like, yeah, this woman downstairs every Wednesday, she reads puppets. She does a puppet show and reads a book to the kids. I'm like, well, score. Now I don't even have to watch them. I can read a book while I'm like, and they can watch the puppet show, and it's win-win for everybody. And I come downstairs and I look around, there's probably, like 20 kids and 11 adults, and not a single one of them was a woman. And at first I thought I walked into the gayest library that ever existed. And then like, as I started talking to like different people there, they were all stay-at-home dads. Like this was actually a thing. This wasn't even their first time there. They were sitting in the circle singing like the SpongeBob theme song with the kids. Like this is like their Wednesday activity, these dads. Right. And I said to one of them, I was like, do any women come? They're like, oh no. Most of the women are work, even if they don't have a stay-at-home parent, both of them are at work. And like, I was waiting for the guy to ask me, can I borrow a tampon or something? Like, it was so creepy that like, I kind of had to leave. Like I got like those creepy calls and I'm okay. Look, we live in a different time. Maybe I'm just like old fashioned or whatever, but it was fucking weird to stand there with like this room full of men that like, and none of them were like, like nasty hippies. Like you're like, oh, well, obviously you're not getting a job because Burger King isn't hiring, right. But like, these were like professional kind of guys. And it was just weird that the only woman in the room was the librarian.
Now, what do either you guys think this is what's the reason you think? Do you think this is a cultural Marxism sort of plan to break up the nuclear family that has been going on for a while and obviously succeeding? Or do you think it's people's natural inclination to do this, or both?
I think that intellectually, I would love to say it is like a Marxist plan, and you know what? There might be people out there who see it that way, right. But I think realistically, it's just that right now we live in a time where it's advantageous to be a woman or anything else because there's a perception that there's inequality. So in effect, it's making over equality for people who would have probably succeeded well anyway. Mm-hmm. But like a woman who's going into like Steph says, a lawyer, they would have been a good lawyer regardless of whether there was equality or inequality. But because people are kind of on their toes for it and like looking out for it and like trying to make amends for it, A, the husband is like, listen, she's going to make more than me anyway. I do X, she does Y. And B, like it comes down to like a financial decision. It comes down to an empowering decision. Like they just say like, look, I want my wife to be all she can be. I want her to go to work. I want her to do this. I want her to like realize having a career, and I'll sacrifice by staying home and watching TV all day. I'll be Peg Bundy, and I think that sucks, number one. And I also can't imagine, like, there has to be something to the idea that men want to conquer. They want to provide. They want to be able to do those things. I mean, there's a reason why for thousands of years it's always been that way. It's an inherent want. So the fact that like these cucks just like don't want to at all, and they're just like, no, honey, you go out and work. I think it's more of just a societal rot.
I agree. I find it's not so much. I don't find a stay-at-home mom, dad. Oh my gosh, my microphone is so echoey. I can hear myself.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's not, because I'm like.
Yeah, but that was totally like, guys, this is God's.
Sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say what I find weird is this like plurality of stay-at-home dads. That's what I find weird. I think if it was like a group of women and there was like one guy that stayed home, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe, who knows, maybe he got laid off and his wife has an awesome job and he was like, you know what, until the kids are in school, I'm just gonna stay home. Like, those reasons to me make perfect sense. And I don't think that, dads can't be capable parents or anything like that. It is telling though when you go into a place and it's like, I've never seen that before. I think it is still very rare for men to be stay-at-home dads. I really don't think it's as common as, the look at this empowering thing of stay-at-home dads. I don't really think that's the case.
Welcome to New Jersey.
Yeah, it's interesting to see.
Yep, exactly.
It's not just that, but you can see the inherent difference in men and women right there. If I walked into a room and saw nothing but like mothers there with their kid and one father there with that kid, that would make total sense. He's trying to get laid.
No, that's
you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even question that for 1 second. That would just make complete and utter sense.
That's very true as well.
But the fact that they were all men there hanging out with other men, that's what made it so creepy.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and I think another thing with the whole, I just find the whole childcare thing interesting, because I actually did work as a nanny, which is probably when I brought up the saying that it's funny how when I was a nanny, everyone's like, oh, congrats, you got a job, even though I work for this horrible family in Toronto, but whatever. Everyone was like, oh, that's awesome, you got a job. But then when I stayed home with my son, everyone was like, oh, you're just a mom. But I found it so funny to me that these people, childcare presents a huge cost to people, and this idea that it makes more economic sense for a mom to go to work and spend 80% of her pay on childcare, I find it ridiculous.
Well, even more ridiculous is your situation is you're leaving your kid at home to go watch someone else's kids.
Well, that's exactly it. And
yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, and it's so true. And I was in Toronto, right? So importing Filipino nannies is a thing. I was the only non-Filipino nanny. I'd go to circle time with these women, and hearing about their lives. I mean, these women all had children in the Philippines.
Right.
These women were all left their kids across the world to come here and work. And it's like, I get it. It's the Philippines' biggest import is money from countries like Canada, from like their domestic workers and things like that. But to me, it's just like the fact that we have to import nannies from the Philippines, because if we actually paid Canadian women enough to do it, there isn't enough nannies to go around, tells me it's economically nonsensical, the system we have now.
Right.
It's crazy right now. I mean, even now I see the cost, when I look at how much I get paid writing, and I do work from home, but I have my youngest sister watch my son a few days a week now for like 4 hours so I can get some solid writing done. And my son's 17 months old, so he's kind of a terror right now at this phase. But even that, I look at it and I'm like, this is like a lot of money to pay her. And this is like very part-time. And this is my sister. Like, I cannot imagine if I had to pay somebody all day. It's just crazy.
Well, it's like I told you, not this year, but last year, my wife said, I'll go out and I'll look for work.
I love this story.
She went to the local Y where one of my daughters was going to be going during the day for nursery school. And my son wasn't old enough really to go to the nursery school yet. Like, he was like 6 months below the cutoff. And the Y was from 8 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. But my other kids went to school from 8 till 3. So they said, oh, don't worry, we can work this out perfectly for you. So she says, okay, well, what is it? She said, well, we'll bus the other two over here after school for our after school program. We have a bus that leaves from their school. Your one daughter will go here from 8 to 5, and we'll allow your son into the nursery program, even though he's a little young. And that way it'll all work, that your kids will be taken care of while you work. And she was like, okay, well, how does this all work then? And they said, well, we'll do all of this. And at the end of the month, you'll only owe us $230.
No, only.
And she's like, wait a minute, I'll work for free so that you pay me nothing. And at the end of the month, we'll only have to come up with $230. And they were looking at us like they had just done us the biggest solid on earth. They were like, no, but isn't that awesome? Your kids will be literally in school or the Y all day long. And she's like, you have to be out of your fucking mind. I would work for you so that I can put my kids in daycare and still owe you money? Like, no, thank you. I'm not interested. And they literally looked at her like, wow, what an asshole.
She's so selfish.
Yeah. Like, how could she do that to her kids that she wouldn't want them out of the house from 8 to 5 and only have to pay $200 for it?
Well,
I work 40 hours as an indentured servant.
Well, in my opinion, I think that's one of the big issues facing Western society is, passing off the kids to somebody else, not allowing the moms to stay home and watch the kids. And if they do, they get dirty looks or they're looked down upon. We need to lift up or venerate the housewife and the mother. Speaking of Mother's Day is coming up. I mean, it's just not happening, and that whole mentality needs to change. And with that, guys, I'm gonna let you go because we're gonna be closing up the show pretty soon. So, Halsey, do you have anything you want to say before you go?
No, man, it was just an awesome time. Looking forward to having you guys on soon. We got a packed month. Follow me on Twitter, Halsey Newsnet, and you can see we got a great schedule. I just put it up. We have casts every day this week, and on May 21st, 9:30. On the Resistance podcast, we are having one of the most epic debates, foreign policy, economic policy, between me and libertarian Tim Price of the Price Podcast. Yes. It's going to be amazing.
And I'm going to moderate. It's going to be so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hope everybody can tune in.
Stephanie, what's your Twitter?
My Twitter is Steph MacWilliams, but it's spelled STEF, not PH. And you can always find me on the Halsey News Twitter as well. So thank you definitely for having me on. I'm going to be starting my YouTube show soon as well. So keep an eye out for that, hopefully very soon.
All right, awesome, guys. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having us, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
So what are you doing?
Is that
Not yet.
That's a hint.
No. Just a hint?
No, I just scrolled over the video as a preview.
Okay.
Stupid.
So wow, that went longer than I thought it would go.
Yeah,
which
it was
isn't a bad thing at all. That's a great thing. I love having extra content, especially when it's good and engaging. So
yeah.
I'm happy with that. I'm very happy.
Yeah, that was fun too.
Yeah, and anyone who wants to follow them or talk to them, their website and Twitters are in the description. Oh, Sal, did I announce that we're on Google Play?
No, you did not.
We are now on, finally, after almost a year, because we just keep forgot to do it, on Google Play.
I can't believe it's been almost a year.
It has been almost a year. It'll be, actually, I think it is a year, Sal. Shit, we need to do a 1 year extravaganza.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
A Tony Danza extravaganza.
That's what I was thinking of too, because when he had that talk show for like a week, he had his extravaganza. Fucking horrible.
Angela.
Maybe he'll have Alyssa Milano on to talk about Trump.
Trump firing Comey. Oh, we get it. You're mad. Let me see. I'm going to try to find our first show. I don't know what the date is, though.
It has been June.
I have no idea. It's around. I think it's around this time in May.
I thought it was June. Could be wrong.
Was it June?
I think it was June.
I thought it was May. We'll figure it out, and whatever that show is will be the 1 year anniversary special. As you can see, we tried to do one a week, and we were close, but wasn't there.
My old podcast, we did one every week for 5 years straight. That was rough.
No break?
No break. 5 years straight.
I couldn't do that.
And then when it broke, I just never came back.
Like, peace out, podcast that I don't like anymore.
Yeah, that was a good interview. I forgot about that Kurt Eichenwald interview.
Yeah.
I was actually watching a little bit of it on my phone. Where he pulls out the binder. But there probably wasn't anything. It was probably like his son's Trapper Keeper.
Yeah.
That's not a binder with all I just saw your son's math homework fall out of it, you jackass.
I saw your kid's soccer picture fall out of him leaning on the ball.
Oh, man. What else? Do we have anything else to talk about?
I don't know. We went over a shit ton of shit, didn't we?
We did. We're
Sessions, Comey, Trayvon Martin, and his brother DeVry.
I was gonna tell Stephanie that she should go to DeVry when she was talking about going to school. So you should have went to DeVry, but only you would have gotten it.
But I guess I don't know. Are we done? I don't. Here's the thing. I'm so disorganized that I can't find the outro.
All right. Well, we'll get it. It's on like. Isn't it on like almost every show? Well, it's in docs. It's definitely in docs.
Yeah. I don't know how to get to it.
Let me see.
Hey, everyone, listen to us as we prepare to end the show.
Well,
everybody! Yay!
What I did want to talk about though is.
Go ahead. Yay.
Is what the hell? What did you find on the Patriarchy Show Twitter? I guess somebody thought that we were going to be discussing feminism because of the name of our show. Is that what's happening?
I assume. I don't know.
But we were going to be getting raped just because
you were going to get pegged by Stephanie.
Because
apparently, or both of us.
So it had to have been our show name.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, our show name gives us just our show name alone gives us 1-star ratings on iTunes. People are like, I don't like you guys. I never listen to you. So, but just because of your name, 1 star.
Yeah.
Dicks.
I think,
whatever.
Here, I'm going to send you something in the chat.
I don't want it. I don't want it, and I don't need it.
I think you do. And also, Jew Goldstein's real name is John Ravillo.
John Ravillo. So he's not even a Jew. Surprise, surprise. Sounds like an Italian sound.
I think he's a former U.S. Marine.
Sounds like a fellow Ginzo.
Hey, John Ravillo.
Hey, Jew Goldstein. What you doing?
Fucking, what's his name? Kurt looks like a kid toucher.
Well, that guy.
He looks like someone that would hang out with Gersh.
Well, speaking of Gersh and or Sylvia Brown and or Alex Jones and or some of the characters that have come on in the past, one was supposed to come on today, but because of the interview went a little bit over, I messaged them, everybody, in a Twitter DM, and hopefully they will be able to make it next week. One of them, either Gersh Kunstman, Alex Jones, or Sylvia Brown.
That's awesome.
So people may not know who Gersh Kunstman is. Gersh Kunstman, if you look in our older shows, he's the guy that got PTSD from firing an AR-15. Sylvia Brown is a dead psychic that was on Montel Williams' show all the time, and they would both try to sell juicers.
That's funny.
And Alex Jones is Alex Jones, obviously.
Don Imus just heard who Alex Jones was like a week ago.
He just discovered him.
And he's
in a whole nother world.
Yeah, he's like, he loves it. He wants him on his show. He thinks he's friggin' funny as hell. I think he thinks that, well, didn't Alex Jones have to say his whole thing was an act in court?
Yeah, but I think Anthony Cumia and a couple other guys would tell their girlfriends the same thing. And Howard Stern would tell his wife the same thing. It's just an act. Yeah. Like if there's a stripper on there and he's sticking his finger in her butthole. It's part of the show. It's a character. No, it's not. But they say it is so they don't get in trouble.
What's his name? Montel Williams is actually in a Twitter meltdown right now, too.
Well, over Comey?
Yeah.
Then I think Sylvia Brown will be the one we're going to have to contact from the other side to get her on next week.
Yeah, he retweeted somebody that wrote, "Call it now. President Trump impeached by year's end."
Oh, no.
What's that chick?
Wait. Halsey just did something. Look on your Twitter. I don't want to announce it over the air.
Halsey did something?
Yeah, on Twitter.
What? We don't want to announce it over.
I don't want to announce it. I don't want to incriminate anyone.
Wait, the article? Wait, what am I looking at?
No. Go to tweets and replies under his comment. So I'm going to look. See, Montel Williams is melting down.
Oh no!
Don't do that.
No. Oh wait, no, he's not. There's no tag.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
okay. All right. Someone sent a flashing thing to somebody. Anyway, Joe Scarborough tweeted and Montel Williams retweeted, Senate Republicans should not confirm any Trump pick for FBI director until an independent prosecutor is appointed on Russia. And then Montel Williams wrote to Marco Rubio, "You may be the best hope of young conservatives. Don't look the other way this time. Make a statement before it's too late." And then he also retweeted Kasich, Governor John Kasich's statement on James Comey. Kasich wrote about an hour ago, "I am extremely troubled by the circumstances surrounding the dismissal of FBI Director James Comey, who has served this nation honorably. Both parties in Congress must put partisanship aside and put our country first to ensure there are full and fair investigations into Russia's efforts to influence our election."
That's friggin' great. And just so you know, you mentioned Joe Scarborough. I wanted to mention this, but we were busy talking about Mormons earlier. I was scrolling through Twitter. Somebody tried to restart a hashtag called Justice for Lori. Lori is the intern that
Yeah.
that
Joe Scarborough allegedly didn't kill or allegedly killed.
Yeah, so I don't know. That came out of nowhere. That they're people like some, I guess you could say, deplorables are attacking him for some reason. I thought I was the only one that would friggin' do that shit. I think it's funny. The blood of Lori continues to cry out. That's great. Holy shit.
So Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, as of now, is still the acting FBI director. Man, they're all freaking out over Comey. So, like I said, yesterday, the liberals and Hillary Clinton hated Comey. Today, they love him. And I think that's the moral of the show.
Yeah, definitely.
That depending on your political point of view, you could love somebody 1 hour, then hate them the next. Because they're going after your guy. And politics is 100% partisan. Do they really think that they're going to impeach Trump?
I think people do. I mean, especially that fucking dumb bitch Maxine Waters. That's all she talks about every day on MSNBC. He's being investigated. He's gonna be impeached. It's only a matter of time. Ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't know. These people are insane. I mean, he fired he fired Comey. Comey was investigating him on Russia, yes or no? Was he?
He won't say.
Well, Comey won't say.
Speaking of Maxine Waters, people are starting to, I don't know why, post gorilla pictures to her, but
I wonder. Oh, you don't know why? You know exactly why, Harambe.
Donald Trump should follow his FBI director out the door.
Oh yeah, that'll happen.
Stupid bitches. I can't.
I don't know. I don't think James Comey was directly investigating Donald Trump. I'm trying to figure it out here. But I don't see anything.
If you want to know exactly what's going to happen and the best analysis on it, go to Bill Mitchell.
Don't do that.
Oh, he's having I was reading his timeline before. He's having a ball right now.
Oh, yeah.
I love his stupid analogies.
It's like a duck who was just thrown into the water, but because a duck, even though he's been out of the water for a long time, the duck still knows how to swim. So don't worry.
He wrote 2 hours ago, Trump just shot the Democratic Party in the middle of Fifth Avenue. He uses like these old it's so annoying. And
well, just because Comey was fired doesn't mean the investigation stops.
That's exactly what Tucker Carlson was trying to say.
If there is an investigation, it doesn't mean it just ends. No. You know what I mean? Like, the FBI is investigating it, not just one guy.
Exactly.
So I don't understand what the big deal is.
Yeah, and the one guy that has been, not stained. He's been friggin' scarred by, the political machine, but just by politics itself. It's good that he's out.
Comey,
If you want to make it look like a legit investigation, you don't want somebody that's been compromised at the top.
Yeah, I mean, according to Hillary Clinton, if it wasn't for Comey, on October 27th, she would have won.
Yeah, so Trump's like, you know what? I'll fire him for you.
Fine, I'll fire him. The investigation is still ongoing. That didn't stop. So I don't, what's the big deal here, people? I thought you all hated Comey. Now he's like butt buddy.
He's a martyr.
These people can't make up their fucking minds. And you, like I said, you think the FBI is just gonna stop investigating?
They do. They don't know how the law. I mean, they don't.
Just because a detective investigating a murder case is fired doesn't mean the murder case disappears. It's not how things work.
Yeah, these people that think this is a constitutional crisis.
It's not. There's been what, 12 or 13 FBI directors, and 2 have been fired.
Well, maybe the FBI itself shouldn't have, any connection to the White House or to Congress to begin with.
Wait, are you saying it should be independent?
Exactly.
No! A pox on you and your house.
And now the Democrats want an independent investigator on this case, which just translates to they want to appoint their own person with their own bias to the case.
Like the whole Ken Starr thing with Clinton.
Ken Starr. Yep. That poor guy.
They really hate Donald Trump. And I don't has Donald Trump done anything Hitlerian? Like, has he gassed a Jew?
Banned even
one Jew. I'm looking for one gas Jew.
Gas Jew. Bless you.
Only one gas Jew.
Bless you.
Yeah.
No, he only banned Muslims, and he wants to block illegals from coming in. So he's Hitler.
And he hasn't even banned the Muslims yet. If he really was a dictator, he would say, "Fuck you, courts, military, listen to me, ban the Muslims." Wouldn't he?
Yeah, then it would be a constitutional
crisis. Yeah, that would be a constitutional crisis, but that hasn't happened.
He's respecting the decision. He's going with the decision. He might not respect it, but
yeah.
May not agree with it, but he is respecting it actually. So, fuck off.
So I'm still waiting for the Hitler stuff, and we get the Hitler comparisons. We've gotten the Harry Potter comparisons. Surprisingly, very small amount of Star Wars comparisons on this one. I'm waiting for the Empire. And,
there were some Star Trek people.
Yeah, Star Trek people, but no comparisons.
But
Star Wars.
We just need
those are the ones you see
in a roar.
But you never see, like I said before, you never see communism comparisons. You never go, he's acting like a Joseph Stalin, or he's acting like a Mao, who've killed millions of more people than Hitler. And America has been battling communism a lot more time than the 3 or 4 years we fought the Nazis.
Jeez. We should start calling
but communist flags are allowed. Che Guevara flags are allowed. You're allowed to run around and have the Communist Party of the USA and not have to worry about losing your job. But you're in the Nazi Party of the USA, yeah, you're done. Your career's finished. Not that I condone it, but if you're going to be equal, let's be equal.
Exactly.
Not that I like either of them, but
now they're flipping out because people want to protect some Confederate statues. I don't know if you've seen any of that.
Hitler? Is he being Hitler for that?
No, I'm just saying, like the left itself, they're flipping out because there's people going down to New Orleans to try and protect these Confederate monuments from being torn down or vandalized.
Right.
And I don't understand people. So even
China, they still have statues of Mao up, and they just walk by him like, yeah, I know you killed 70 million of us. We know you're part of history, though. History is there, good or bad. It's history.
They don't get it. They don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know. And I liked getting into the little bit of the Islam with those guys because I wanted to get their feel about Islam, Halsey and Stefanie. I'm glad we're 100% on the same page with that. because Chris Logan has been having a tough time with these people who call themselves Islamic reformers. You can listen to Chris Logan and our interview with him on episode 31, Muslim Nipple Wars.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's great. But he's getting. You saw what was going on Facebook the other day.
Yeah, he tags us and everything, which I appreciate.
Yeah, so we know what's going on, and these people are going after him because he
tagged us during the show. As a matter of fact,
what?
He tagged us during the show. What? As a matter of fact.
Yeah, well, he's going after a guy who didn't condemn Zuhdi Jasser, who is part of Clarion, who has millions of dollars in funds who believes in Islamic reformation.
It's ridiculous.
You can't reform Islam, people. It is what it is. Exactly. I don't know what to tell ya. I say it like every episode. There are a lot of cultures that fucking suck. Islam is a culture that fucking sucks. Just like raping albino babies to cure AIDS in Tanzania sucks. Islam sucks as well.
Shit. So our friend Chris, he tagged us like right before the show started that he's gonna show his face for the first time.
Oh yeah. No, he's been showing his face a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, with him and where he is in New York, he gets a lot of death threats from Muslims. You know, we get death threats from like people from Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, so they're not going to jump on their magic carpet and come over to New Jersey. You know, you don't really have to worry about them.
Yeah, we've had some threats from some fun people.
Yeah.
But
our comebacks are the best. Your grandmother will be raped by a goat for eternity in hell. Those type of insults make them flip the fuck out.
Yeah, anything that has to do with them or their relatives getting raped by goats or dogs.
Yeah, dogs, goats. Yep, they don't like that.
Gee whiz.
Your grandfather will be raped by goats in hell for eternity. Oh, how dare you!
And then when you report their death threat to Twitter, like, we don't see anything here.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. They just send you a picture of a noose and a knife with your name next to it.
Yeah, just get over it. It's a different culture. You don't understand them.
Yeah. All cultures are equal. They're just misunderstood. Like the one where you marry 6-year-olds and then rape them when they're 9. Those are nice cultures. So and with that, let's get out of here.
Yeah, we've only been on for 2.5 hours.
Well, that's good. Yeah. And we only had 2 guests on at once, so we kind of like really got our talking out.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to thank everyone for listening. Make sure you take 10 seconds and give us 5 stars on iTunes. It helps us and helps us spread our message of whatever that is. So iTunes, you can find that in the description. NewMediaCentral.net. New Media Central is an independent network of new and younger, conservative and libertarian voices, or whatever, alt-rightish, alt-lightish, alt-nightish, all of them. I'm mainly on the right. Yeah. So you can find informative news, commentary, and thought-provoking podcasts. New Media Central is independent of PAC and mainstream media influence, so we appreciate any help you can give. If you give anything to the PayPal button on the homepage, I will send you a PDF copy of my book, Broken Volume 1. Or Broken. So it's a poetry book, theological poetry. If you're into that sort of thing, check it out. Donate anything, a quarter. I'll send you the PDF through PayPal. I want to thank Stefanie and Halsey for coming on. So thank you.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. That was great.
So yeah, Stefanie and Halsey were our Halsey English, Stefanie MacWilliams are our guests tonight. You can find them on Twitter, Halsey English at Halsey News Net, and Stefanie MacWilliams at Steph MacWilliams. So that's STEFMAC Williams. And of course, you can follow them on their website, halseynews.com. And one last thing before we close, of course, is I always want to bring up the Heart of a Marine Foundation, heartofamarine.org, heartofamarine.org. They are a fantastic organization, a smaller one that helps out veterans and active duty military members and their families. Not just the Marines. It's all branches. I know the people that do it. My best friend who was a Marine who died in Iraq. His parents started the foundation, so any help you can give would be appreciated. They just gave computers to help out brain injured vets. So that's heartofamarine.org, heartofamarine.org. You can follow me, Ian, at Ian D. Erickson on Twitter. Sal?
Yeah?
Where can we follow you?
I could be found at Sal at NMC.
Sal at NMC. You can follow me on Gab at IDE. You could follow the show. Was it at Patriarchy Show? And you can follow New Media Central at New Media Central on Gab and Twitter and Facebook. And just go to the website, newmediacentral.net. It's all there. It's all in the description. What's wrong with you? Just do it. Come on. Let the people click the links. Shut up already.
Are you Danza?
What?
Are you Danza?
I don't know what I am.
Ian Danza. Ian D. Erickson.
Ian Danza.
For Danza. Or for Dice.
Yeah. Blu-ray. I needed the money. All right, so I guess we're done, right?
We're done.
All right. Hey, get out of here. Be with your families or something. What's wrong with you? Turn us off.